Friday night. I got my coffee. You got your coffee.
Yeah.
We both got coffee.
It's just coffee for days.
Welcome to the Coffee Podcast. We're going to do nothing but talk about coffee.
CoffeeJoes.gov.
CoffeeJoes.gov is the new website. No, it's not. It's www.rageselect.com. Welcome back. I'm Jeff.
No, I'm Matt.
And yeah. Matt, there's a lot. It's a lot going on this week.
A lot.
It's a lot going
I wasn't
on.
even aware of most of it until you told me about it.
Jesus, I was just minding my own business. You know, if you look, I bought these PlayStation 2 games from Chris Cox over at One of Us.
I saw that.
And one of the ones that I bought is Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, because I was like, oh, it'd be fun to maybe play that again someday. And they were just like, what about tomorrow? And I was like, well, go fuck yourself. It was announced as like 6 months ago. Anyway, welcome back, everybody. Welcome. Matt.
Yes, sir.
I watched so many things last week.
Oh, did you?
That I'm going to give you the choice about which thing you want to hear about.
All right.
So I watched episode 1 of The Bad Batch.
Okay.
I watched all of Invincible.
Okay.
I watched Mitchell's versus the Machines.
Okay.
And I watched The Father with Anthony Hopkins, where he's got a lot of mental. It's like Alzheimer's thing.
Oh God!
It's definitely not Jeff's normal kind of movie.
Yeah.
Like, because Jeff's likes a lot of ninjas, and like you heard the other things that I just listed off.
Yeah.
But I will watch Anthony Hopkins do anything for 90 minutes. I will watch Anthony Hopkins eat a fucking egg salad sandwich and just be like, Millions, yes, all the awards, all the awards for this man.
Sweeps.
So which one of these things would you like to hear about? Because I don't think we have time for that many. We got so many newses.
It's a lot. Mitchell's versus the Machines, I've heard is fun.
Do you already know that you are in the Mitchells versus the Machines?
Is it the little kid asking people want to talk to him about dinosaurs?
Yes.
And nobody wants to talk about dinosaurs?
Yes.
He just crosses their name off that. That could be a very sinister implication.
There's one part where they go to this dinosaur like a dino cafe at like an exit from a road, and like he's literally sitting in like the dino room looking at like a brontosaurus that literally just has a human nose on it. He's like looking at a card that has like that actual brontosaurus on it, and he's just like so it was good. It was good.
I heard it's very cute.
It is very cute. It was actually produced by Phil Lord and Chris Miller. I thought it was directed by Lord Miller. So
okay.
But it's a very fun kind of family story. Right. It's not, I mean, like I love like Lego Movie and Spider-Verse. I don't know that it's all the way up on that list, but it was very nice. I think the main thing was just that there's an equivalency in that movie where it's like, well, the dad, he was just like, he's like an outdoorsy guy, and he loves like building stuff and fixing stuff, and where he doesn't like computers at all. And like his daughter, who's kind of the main character, is like super into making lo-fi YouTube movies and stuff. And they kind of have this equivalency where just like they don't understand each other. But like the dad refuses to even pretend to watch the YouTube movies that she's making.
Well, that sounds like he's just a shitty dad.
And I'm just like, there's a point in the movie where the movie is like, yeah, but the dad might have a point. And it's like,
about what?
It's like, man, you know what? Like, there's a point where maybe like your kids start going their own way, and if you just refuse to engage with whatever your kids are into, and then they drift away from you, that's your fucking fault, adult man. Like, it's not a 16-year-old's job or like an 18-year-old's job to have the emotional strength to be like, I think we should come to a good emotional compromise and figure out the best way for me. They're just like, no, I'm angry and fucking horny all the time. Like, 18-year-olds don't think properly. I feel so bad every time a movie judges like a 14-year-old, because I'm like, they're babies, their brains aren't even done yet. Like, they're just figuring out how to be people.
I mean, yeah, they can learn a lesson, but cut them a little slack, God damn it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, trust me, oh man, you know what? I may have to watch this movie, and I may have to be ready to cry because that sounds a little close. It is a movie with Matt in it.
Yes, it is a movie with Matt in it.
Yeah, they. Okay, anyway.
I think you would really like it because they took a lot of the kind of like hand-drawn interstitial stuff from like Spider-Verse.
Oh.
And so because the main character, because she is like a YouTube filmmaker, there's a lot of like real kind of like what like late 90s lo-fi like kind of scribble spiral notebook drawings that pop up in a lot of different places
that's
throughout.
Cute. I like that. Stylistically, I heard it's really cool.
It is excellent. It lost me in a few places just because like there was a lot of like, no, you should listen, you should come to emotional, you should cut your dad some slack, and it was just like, this is beginning. It kind of like reminds me of Up a little bit, which I did not enjoy.
Yeah,
in the beginning,
I think you and I have very similar opinions of Up.
Where it was just like, there's this whole montage at the beginning about the young girl being like, and then I was in grade school and I showed them my experimental film and everybody was like, boo. And then I tried showing it to anybody else in my life and they were all just like, boo. And I was like, I feel so bad for this poor YouTuber. Like,
yeah, this poor kid just wants to make movies, and like, I don't know. I feel like, I feel like at a certain, okay, little insider baseball.
Yeah.
Yes, you probably should support your kids' artistic endeavors if they go that hard into them.
Yeah.
And just if you're choosing to not engage, then, and whatever you think your kid is doing is stupid, I can tell you from personal experience that it's not gonna be good.
No.
It's gonna be a bad.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know. Hearing that though does make me want to watch it, because I remember seeing commercials for it and thinking that looks interesting, and then the pandemic happened, and
it's funny to me because the dad and the girl, it may just be because I've watched so many fucking movies where I'm like, okay, I see what the fuck. I mean, we're going to end this, and then she's going to be like, I never want to speak to you ever again. What do you think's going to happen at the end of that movie? But like, there are so many cool. I love the little brother. The mom is great. There's a whole part at the end with the mom that is just fucking amazing.
All right.
There's a point where, because the whole point of it is that the robots take over and they're capturing all of humanity.
As you do.
And there's a certain point, I swear to God, like I fell off my couch laughing. Where there's a certain point where two of the robots are like cut off from the network and are malfunctioning, and they're trying to convince the family that they're people. And like at one point they do that thing where they go down the stairs, and then when they do, they draw bad faces on their little view screens and come back up, and they're just like,
God.
My name is Henry, not 9,000. And they're like, no, that's not a human name.
that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I definitely want to watch this.
Those two are great. It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Invincible is good.
Yeah, I don't know if Invincible's for me.
I'm a big fan of The Boys. I think if you're a fan of, Amazon's really trying to capture the market of bloody, horrible superheroics.
Yeah. Would superheroes existing in real life be a terrible thing?
Yes.
Probably.
Yes.
Although, of course, I'm just looking at it and I'm just like, oh, so this is the natural end result of Snyderverse Superman. I mean, that's just what this is. I read the first volume of the comic and I really enjoyed it, but I didn't have a chance to come back around to it. Mm-hmm. But knowing what I know about the show and what I've seen of the show, I'm like, I don't think the comic was that bloody.
I actually think the end of the Snyderverse might be that new Jupiter thing on Netflix, because that's Mark Millar, the guy who wrote Wanted, and like, I don't necessarily, I don't hate Millar as much as a lot of other people do. Like, I think he's done some
Miller or
good
Millar?
stuff. I've always heard it as Millar because Milar.
Oh, okay, that's a good point.
But he has his own Millarverse, which like Wanted and Kick-Ass and Jupiter Ascending all take place, and it's just like, I started watching it, I'm just like, oh yeah, what if Superman's kids were all fucked up because he sucks? I'm like, yep, that's a Mark Millar show right there.
I mean, yeah, at a certain point. Did he write Planetary?
No, that's Warren Ellis.
Oh, Warren Ellis wrote, yeah, okay. Yeah.
With whom, this is very complicated. I don't know how to agree with Warren Ellis's actions, but like, because he recently, there was some stuff. I'm still not even completely sure what happened with him.
Maybe we should just steer clear of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's pivot to Matt? Have you watched anything good? Have you seen anything good? What
I
can
feel
you
like
tell
I
to the audience?
can't just keep talking about Singular Point because I just.
Hey everybody, Matt Frank's talking about Godzilla again. Fucking take a shot. Don't do it. You'll die.
You will.
You will.
All
die.
I will say is that it's 6 episodes in. I'm watching them as they come out in Japan.
Okay.
It'll be on Netflix in June.
Okay.
You guys should watch it. If you have any passing interest in Godzilla and if you like anime, watch it.
I'm gonna make you watch The Father with Anthony Hopkins.
I'm
gonna make
that shit in my life.
I'm going to make you watch Anthony Hopkins and Olivia Colman act their ass off for 90 minutes.
I like stuff that isn't Godzilla. One of my favorite movies of all time is fucking Inherit the Wind.
Okay.
So, do you know what that movie is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know,
It's really good.
Yeah,
It's a really good movie.
absolutely.
Fuck you.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm
Okay,
just saying,
good. I'm glad. I mean, aside from
you
that,
never make any inherit the win jokes on Rachel. I
could. They're mostly going to be making fun of religion. But I do that anyway. No, I just
We're going to start
because
making Mr. Smith goes to Washington jokes on Rage Select.
I mean, one of the I remember like I'm very lucky that my friend Paul Hanley, who I'm working on Miss Medusa's Monstrous Menagerie with,
Yes.
he has been really instrumental in my expanding my horizons as far as films go, because I've spent so much of my life tracking down schlocky Japanese horror films.
Sure.
That I need house that he has been like, okay, but now we need to watch this string of Italian horror films, and now we need to watch oh shit, what was that movie he got me to watch that I was really blown away by? Sounds
like it made quite an impression.
I can see the scenes in the movie. It's about a guy who's like supposed to be the inheritor of some British lord's estate.
Okay.
But he thinks he's Jesus Christ.
Okay.
And it's like, and everyone thinks he's
I've
crazy.
not seen this movie.
God damn it! What is the name of this movie?
Is it a horror movie?
No, well, kind of. It's more of a.
I'm gonna type movie. Guy thinks he's Jesus.
Yeah, that'll probably. Yeah, guy thinks he's Jesus.
Thinks he's.
I like how one of these was guy thinks he's black.
Patty Mayo.
No, guy thinks he's Jesus.
The Ruling Class.
That's it. It's the Ruling Class.
1972.
Fucking wackadoo movie.
Okay.
He thinks he's Jesus. So the other rich fuckos want to cure him. So they quote unquote cure him, but what they do is they turn him into a sociopath, but he's the correct kind of crazy because he's like, it's a really haunting movie.
All right.
It's very well made.
So
Peter O'Toole is the main character.
HBO, right? HBO
Yeah,
Max?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
watch now.
give that a watch sometime.
Right.
But I watched that like 2 years ago. I'm trying to think of stuff I did in the last couple weeks, but short version, mostly I've been working or I've been watching
The Singular Point.
or I finally cracked into Monster Hunter Rise.
Oh, there you go.
And I'm been mostly just fucking around with the controls because you really got to get into the Monster Hunter headspace to figure out how this
you got to internalize a really esoteric set of. Like, you got to get them wire bugs in there, man.
The wire bugs I'm having a little trouble with. I'm not gonna lie.
Yep.
Yeah. Beyond that, been watching West Wing, been watching Bob's Burgers, been watching The Great North, which is cute. It's not as good as Bob's Burgers, but it's cute, and it's very cozy.
Okay.
It's very like it feels like a warm blanket.
All right.
Been watching Morgan. I've been watching Sex in the City.
Okay.
Never watched it. We were looking for something to watch. She wanted to revisit it. I'd never seen it. First season's not great. A lot of really outdated stuff in most of the show.
I'm a Miranda.
Yeah, you're a Miranda.
I don't know I don't know what that means.
No, you're a Miranda.
Okay, I don't know. I just like the name Miranda.
Yeah,
quite a bit.
I'm somewhere between a Samantha and a Carrie, because Carrie is the artist and she's the writer and the artist and she's kind of a free spirit, and Samantha's the sex crazed maniac who's also hyper progressive.
Okay.
So, it's. By the time we get to season 5, they stop doing boyfriend of the week, and they start doing like, how about let's talk about these women and their relationships with each other and their friendships.
Okay.
And that I've found to be okay. Now I'm like truly invested.
Fair enough.
It only took 5 seasons.
I'm not.
It's not that it's not fun before that, or interesting or well made, but okay. So that's what Matt's been doing. Other than fucking staying up till 4 a.m. every goddamn night working.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, speaking of people who work late, let's talk about Tim Sweeney.
So what is this about?
Okay.
I'm out of the loop on this.
Okay, so the big thing that happened this week was, a little while back, Tim Sweeney is the guy that runs Epic Games.
Right.
A little while back, Epic Games decided to slide a little update in on Fortnite that basically allowed people to circumvent on mobile. What it boils down to was they slipped in an update that allowed people to give them money directly. instead of giving money to the Apple Store, which then Apple takes like a fucking 50% cut of or whatever, and then get it. Well, Apple was like, no, and they they took Fortnite off of iPhones for a little while. There was a point where you could buy an iPhone with Fortnite on it for like a gajillion dollars.
Jesus Christ.
All this back and forth, all this posturing. Well, we finally had our first days in court. And so here's the thing, Matt.
All right.
I love it. And you want to know why? It's because normally video game companies are very secretive.
Mm-hmm.
And like a dozen stories this week are just coming out of like fucking things that people had to post in court because like you can't be like, well, we're just not going to talk about how much money we paid to get Borderlands 3. It's like, no, you have to. Like you were required.
Who do you think you are? A Republican president? You can't just hide that shit.
You were required to show. In fact, there is a story about Nintendo later that is just
boy,
amazing. In fact, I will tell you right now that we're going to get to it. But one of the documents that Nintendo submitted in this whole discovery phase is like redacted. Like it's some fucking like
the fucking like a memo from post 9/11 or something. I should.
Yes. Yeah. It's like blacked out.
Yeah,
like, there's a whole shitload of it that's fucking redacted.
Watergate shit.
Yeah. So okay, we're gonna get into it. This is where we start.
All right.
One of the first things that had to happen was that before the case could even start, Tim Sweeney had to visually identify a PlayStation 5.
Wait a minute, Jeff. Are you telling me that this old white billionaire doesn't know what a video game console looks like?
Oh, no. In order for the case to proceed, he had to correctly identify a PlayStation 5, an Xbox Series X, and a Nintendo Switch correctly. And if he could not, then we're done. For I don't know what the reasons were. I don't know if this is just like how
fucking weird.
So yeah, it turns out that he did, and he was able to identify all of them, and so the case proceeds onwards.
Why?
From a Kotaku article, he would need to successfully point out all three, of course, if he and Epic were to stand any chance of success in this case. So the pressure was on. And thanks to an audio recording made available on the first day's proceedings, we've been able to listen. Oh, okay, so I guess they weren't going to shut it down, but it was just like, if it would look bad.
So weird.
If he couldn't identify the console.
It's just so weird. Okay, great.
This has been very weird. I actually think that like this week we're going to get into numbers, but I'm going to make it fun.
Oh, okay.
Because that's just where we started. Now, from there, we also got a part of the documents and emails that were released that was an apology from Tim Sweeney directly to Yves Guillemot, CEO of Ubisoft.
Oh.
So it turns out that at a certain point, Ubisoft games on the Epic Game Store had like a fraud rate of like 70%.
What?
Because of some shit that Epic had done, and that like people were essentially buying the games and then reselling them. Hackers were buying the game with a stolen credit card number, getting the code, and then selling the code on like a reseller website.
Jesus.
And it was like. Let me read to you from Tim Sweeney writing to Yves Guillemot. In the past 48 hours, the rate of fraudulent transactions on Division 2 surpassed 70% and was approaching 90%. Sophisticated hackers were creating Epic accounts, buying Ubisoft games with stolen credit cards, and then selling the linked Uplay accounts faster than we were disabling linked Uplay purchases for fraud. Fraud rates for other Epic Game Store titles are under 2%, and Fortnite is under 1%. So 70% fraud was an extraordinary situation. That was a lot of money, especially considering how much Ubisoft fucking loves money. They love the money so much.
Love the money.
So at that point, they disabled all purchasing of all Ubisoft games until they could get the systems together to keep the shit from happening. This is worth noting, just to know. This week is a thing that I feel like there are a lot of like for granteds that we take when it comes to video games. Like, you know, one of the I rail a lot about Steam, right? But one of the things that Steam does, one of the things that the Xbox Store does, one of the things the PlayStation Store does is like keep shit like this from happening. Like this is a thing. This is one of the reasons that you might not want to go with something like an Epic Games Store that is a brand new thing, still working stuff out. Because like if a hole opens up, then you might be looking at fucking 90% fraud transactions on your new game that they paid for PC exclusivity for. So it's not even like, well, you're losing it your ass on the Epic Store, but Steam is going great. It's like, no, it's only available on the Epic Games Store on the PC.
Right.
So
that is fucked. Is there okay? So, is there any reason why Ubisoft games specifically were being like targeted, or is it just because they were popular? Or
I think from that description, right? So it says sophisticated hackers were creating Epic accounts, buying Ubisoft games with stolen credit cards, and then selling the Uplay accounts.
Oh,
so
it's
what I'm
connected
thinking
to
of is that if they had brought a fraudulent game and it went through the entire Epic system and then bounced out once they did, then they could revoke it. But if it got tied to a Uplay account that was then accessible somewhere else, then it's possible that you could use that as a funnel to get the games fucking out, you know?
That is fucking bananas.
There's a lot of weird shit like this in the video game industry that I feel like we just don't ever really talk about all that much.
Well, yeah, because how are you going to talk about that when you're so busy hitting downvotes on Nintendo videos because they don't talk about Smash?
Well, you know, it's important work to tell Nintendo that all anybody cares about is Smash, and all they should do is just make Smash Brothers 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and never anything else but Smash Brothers. The end.
Almost like internet feedback is inherently pointless.
Well, you know, that's my motto. It says it on my family crest of arms.
Oh yes, of course. Put it on my tombstone.
More information. We learned that Borderlands 3's exclusivity deal with Epic. Now, I really want to nail this shit down right, before I say this, is that this is what it takes to try to break into the market that Steam has a stranglehold on. I am probably more anti-corporation, anti-business than a lot of other people. I think that when you look at the video, I'm only going to say this once this podcast, right? So you guys have heard me say this, but I'm going to say it again, but I just want to repeat it, but I'm only going to do it once. We started to see gains in the console industry because there've always been multiple big companies that have to fucking kill each other to get us to buy their shit, right? Like you have to offer something. The reason that the Xbox has Game Pass and all these crazy games and all this exclusivity and all this stuff, you know, the reason they fucking bought ZeniMax, right, is because that's how you like because they're trying to get it over on Sony. They're trying to make more money. Like the reason that Sony is pushing out the best Spider-Man game we've seen, you know, in a decade, or like all this stuff, is because that's how they and so it makes me a little dismayed because the PC doesn't have these juggernauts. It just has the one juggernaut, and that's why I like Epic. Is because I don't like Epic, and I'm not fans of. I don't tie my identity to fucking Tim Sweeney and his bullshit.
I mean, exactly. It's like the only reason I buy Nintendo consoles is so I could play Zelda. I'm not loyal to Nintendo.
If they put Breath of the Wild on the PlayStation 4, I wouldn't own a fucking Switch, right? Like,
I mean, basically.
I mean, I don't go on the train. I don't need to carry my console around. It never comes out of the fucking dock. Half the time, the biggest problem I have is trying to figure out how to get it woken up in the dock. But yeah, I think that because of the lax consumer rights that we have in America, that our best bet for getting the most for our money is when you make corporations fight for your dollar.
Yep.
And that's why I like Epic, because Epic is doing that. Now, what it takes to do that is you have to be able to lock an exclusive in, which on the PC is almost impossible, right? It's a fucking PC game.
Yeah.
You know? So, Epic paid Gearbox $119 million.
Good Lord.
For exclusivity for Borderlands 3.
Just for Borderlands 3?
Just for Borderlands 3.
119 million?
Yes. The way that breaks down,
not even to make anything.
No. This was for exclusivity on their platform. $80 million was the minimum guarantee. This is the way that they do it, is they basically just say like, hey, if you put it here, we're going to give you this amount. That basically, like, think about $80 million is a million copies, a little bit more than that, right?
Yeah.
It's several. It's 1 million plus copies guaranteed to sell, right? Like, you don't have to do anything else, and that's just on one platform too, right? That's just on the PC. And then they also put in 15 million as a marketing commitment and 20 million for non-recoupable fees, which is essentially just like rights, like just the deal.
Yeah.
So, and that's not even all of it, because they also paid 2K 11 million for the Handsome Jack collection and 20 million for Civilization, and so the full cost is $146 million to
Rice on the cross.
one company for kind of one series of games.
Game.
Yeah. Like this, even we were just talking about the Division 2, right? Control was an Epic Games exclusive. Like this is what it takes to break into a market. And this is why it gets irritating when people are just like, well, if you don't like Steam, then don't, if you don't want the revenue split where Steam takes 30% of everything that you make, then just fucking like sell it directly on another website. And it's like, yeah, man, but like the amount of sales that you're forfeiting, or, in the early days, people got really, really, really mad whenever developers would let their games be Epic Games Store exclusives on the PC. And I'm just like, man, if you were a company and they were just like, hey, one platform and we're going to give you $115 million, you'd be like, yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Of course.
Give me the money.
A fucking
Buy the money. I want it.
Yeah. So
Jesus.
now it's time
Oh, God.
to spin it around. It's time to turn the beat around. Because 115 million sounds like a lot. But we also found out how much Epic made on Fortnite in 2018 and 2019.
Oh, God.
Would you like to guess?
Well, I like to guess.
Would you like to guess?
In 2 years for one game.
For Fortnite.
For Fortnite.
For Fortnite.
For Fortnite.
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay. I mean, I don't know whether or not to include like merchandise in that, because like every fucking kid buys Fortnite toys now.
I don't think so.
Oh.
I think we're just talking digital.
We're just talking
sales.
digitally?
Yeah.
I'm going to be conservative and say 300 million? 400 million? Oh, God.
Matt.
What?
$9.1 billion. Between 2018 and 2019, Epic made $9.1 billion on Fortnite. This is why we have to keep this shit in perspective when you say, like, Fortnite is big. Like, I shouldn't be able to say that without you hearing those letters all be capital. Like, it is fucking huge, because that is enough money to take Apple to court.
Oh, man.
That is enough money to give $115 million to Gearbox just to get a fucking exclusive on your store.
I sometimes, I think what it was is I keep forgetting that Epic owns Fortnite.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting
They made Fortnite. Like, they don't even play a developer. They built Fortnite.
Right. Well, I keep forgetting that Fortnite is theirs.
Yeah. That's
and,
not even...
And when you factor that in, you're just like, oh, they can do whatever the fuck they want.
I mean... The Unreal Engine licensing in that same 2 years earned $220 million for Epic. That's not even Fortnite. That's just like other companies used our software to make their games. Like, this is big. It's so big. That number, my brain cannot fit that number inside of it.
$9 billion.
Yep.
Fuck. And that's not including merchandise.
I don't think so.
It's
let's see. This is a fiscal presentation. This is from PC Gamer article that is quoting The Verge. Epic reports that the Battle Royale raked $5.8 billion in 2018 and $3.7 billion in 2019. That grossly outshines any other game owned by Epic, including Rocket League and Battle Breakers, which accounts for $108 million over those 2 years, and then blah, 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 blah. But yeah. So this says Epic's overall profits for those 2 years came to $5.5 billion, which... I would assume that is deducting shit like that Borderlands deal, shit like some other stuff that we're going to talk about. So just this is an interesting thing to consider, is that when you say that Fortnite is really big with the kids, this is why everybody then makes a battle royale game, because if you can get 1% of the market share that made them $9 billion that you were going to do very, very well.
I'm just thinking about that meme of like, Mom, I want this.
Yeah.
No, we have that at home. And it's like whatever off-brand battle royale. I mean, it's the most recent thing. It was some kid saying. Well, the most recent thing I'm thinking of is a meme that says, "Mom, I want Godzilla versus Kong." No, we have Godzilla versus Kong at home, and it's like the Asylum ape versus monster movie that they're putting out. That's what I'm thinking out with this shit, where it's like some parent, or I guess at some point a grandparent who doesn't know what a Fortnite is, gets their kid a download code for what the fuck was that game that completely crashed and burned, that was like a battle royale game, and it was super colorful, and it was made by the guy who made
about Radical Heights.
That one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was that Epic too? Or
Cliff Bleszinski.
That was Bleszinski.
No, Epic would never go up against their. They've got.
We've got Radical Heights at home.
Right.
Was that whole thing shut down now?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That was his Boss Key Studios that made Lawbreakers, and then when Lawbreakers was crashing and burning, he really tried to put together Radical Heights as a battle royale contender, but it wasn't enough.
Did they also do Battleborn? Or is that somebody else?
That's Gearbox Software, the makers of Borderlands 3.
God damn it. I can't keep this shit straight. I learned all my gaming news from Jim Sterling.
Yeah. So we also got another report that talked about another $11.6 million worth of games that Epic just gave away. $11.6 million is the price tag for... I know that after talking about 9 billion and 100 and blah blah billion, you're like, or
11 billion.
11 million. With an M, plebeians. Patooey. I wouldn't spit on $11 million. $11 million is apparently what Epic paid for all the free games they've been giving away for the last year.
Man.
So like every week, there's a new just free PC game because you got to bolster up the library so that you'll be encouraged to keep using the software. Mm-hmm. You want people to have enough games. And I mean, like, there was a week where they gave away Grand Theft Auto 5. Like, there's been a lot of free games on the Epic Games Store.
Jeez.
But that's not even the most interesting one.
Oh,
Matt.
is it not?
Because this, to me, is one of the most interesting things of all time.
Okay.
There was a point several years back. This is, man, I got to tell you, I fucking love this shit. Because this is the, like... anybody out there who thinks that like companies are your friends,
nope.
Wait.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a point about 2 years ago where Fortnite, they wanted to make Fortnite totally cross-play on all the platforms, and the one holdout was Sony, and Sony was like, no, and everybody was like, fuck you, and then like if your game tag got activated on a PlayStation, you couldn't use it then you couldn't log into that same Epic account on like a Switch or the Xbox. So eventually there's crossplay happened. And people, I think at the time, myself included, were just like, oh, Sony finally figured out. It's just like, hey, this isn't a good look, Sony. You're looking like a big jerk. You're like a big jerk.
Big jerky boy.
And they were like, yeah, we look like big jerks. We should just let everybody have a lot of fun, be super cool and play and super have fun. Turn on the crossplay switch and let everybody have fun. That is not what happened.
Whoa.
What happened was that Sony made Epic sign a deal with them. And this deal, you got to keep up with the math on this, goes like this.
Oh, God.
Okay, so the number of people playing the game on your platform, on PlayStation, right? Take that number, and then I believe divide it by the total number of sales made in microtransactions in the game. Okay. And if that number is below 0.85, you owe me the money to bring it up to 0.85.
Okay.
Think about it this way.
All right.
Let's say that you and I made a video game and it's only on the Xbox and the PlayStation, right?
Coming out June.
Okay.
Yep.
So we made this game and it's only on the Xbox and the PlayStation. So what this deal says is, like, let's say that there's a 50-50 split between the amount of players on the PlayStation, the amount of players on the Xbox, right? And then we look at the amount of money that was spent on microtransactions. Let's say that 60% of the microtransactions happened on the Xbox and 40% happened on the PlayStation. What Sony is saying is that by letting that crossplay happen, we've got 50% of the players, but we only got 40% of the microtransactions. Whereas if we had kept our side separate, then all the microtransactions would be on our side. So if it dips below that ratio, not 1, it doesn't have to be 1-to-1, but if it dips below 0.85, you, Epic, have to pay us, Sony, the difference of what we would have made had we kept Fortnite only, had we kept our crossplay disabled and segregated from the rest of the gaming community. This is what it took to make crossplay happen on the PlayStation.
For a minute there, I was thinking like, oh, now I've gone cross-eyed.
Right, right.
But once you actually gave me examples,
yeah.
Okay, what I find fascinating about this news cycle that we're working our way through.
We got so many.
I know. I'm just saying.
No.
Is that video games as an industry is still a relatively nascent industry when compared to movies and the music industry and all that shit.
Sure.
What we are now seeing is, again, because one of the reasons why these companies have been able to be so secret for so long is because a lot of the player base, a lot of their customer base doesn't give a shit. And hold on, wait, bear with me.
Okay, all right.
What I'm saying is that this is almost seeing all this shit come out. This is almost like growing pains for the industry, maturing pains, and we are now as we mature and the industry matures, we are now being forced to be being shown this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm off the mark here, but I feel like there's something there and I can't quite get it. But
I think that to me, the way that it is just that, like, if the movie industry had started when the video game industry started, it would be just as secretive.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying.
So much of the openness of those other industries only happened because they've been around for so long.
Yes.
I do not think that the video game industry will ever open up.
Really?
Because the thing is, the only reason they've had to do this is because there is an active court case.
Right.
So, like, they have to produce these documents in open court.
Right.
And if it wasn't for that, they would never fucking tell us this shit.
Right. I know. I'm just, but it is, and they are.
Right.
And their hand has now been forced. And I just think that's fascinating.
I do too.
Sociologically.
I'm saying I love it. Because it's all this information that we never get to see.
Right.
And like, you always you have to make these weird assumptions, and now it's like, no, it was about the money. Like, all these stories, it was about the fucking money.
Well, sure.
So
I mean, I'm just thinking about how that time I was involved in a Kickstarter for a game that I think the goal was 100,000, and that was just to get like a demo together.
Oh yeah.
When the demo finally started coming out and we started showing progress videos, one of the comments was, for $100,000, this should look like Skyrim. And it's like, oh, you sweet fucking summer child. You have no fucking clue how any of this works, do you?
I think it's interesting because I think in a lot of ways that it goes to our perception of art, which I think that anybody who's made art, whether you're a musician or you make penis jokes or you do whatever, that it's like a lot of times, and I don't know, it's a sliding scale, so it's not everybody, but a lot of times I think people are just like, oh my god, this is so fun, the people that made this must be like fun people who were like, I want to make fun for the world, the world should have fun, and it was like, no, they want money.
Yeah,
they want money.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, a lot of them have goals beyond just money.
They want to be the best in their industry, and they want to make the best stuff. I mean, even guys, even fucking weirdos like Michael Eisner was like, no, I want us to make. We have to make money, but we also are like the best at what we do, and I want to make good stuff.
That wasn't actually the quote.
But what I do isn't very nice. As Wolverine.
No, the quote from him was basically just like, in the process of making money, we may make great art, but that like the
ultimate goal is money.
Right? Which a lot of times, I mean, also I want to make doubly clear that I'm not saying that, like, fucking, I don't know, pick one of these, like Hideo Kojima obviously likes video games, and he isn't
Right.
just like maximize the cash, because when they let that go too far away from the art, the same as with movies and
Sure.
and music, and
You get weird shit that nobody
you
wants
get
to see.
soulless garbage like Mortal Kombat, where it's just like, you nerds love this. Here, let's do it. Make sure to put in all the fatality sayings so that the kids will be like, I remember that from the game. Like, there's a certain point where shit gets soulless if you
Right.
push it too far in one direction. But again, it's fascinating because like Sony did not let you play Fortnite against your buddies on the Xbox because they love fun. They did it because Epic literally said they would reimburse them if they lost even a cent on that.
It's fascinating.
So.
It is fascinating. I agree.
Speaking of Sony, there's a new lawsuit.
Oh, another one. Oh, good.
Yep. This one I don't really know about. Like this one, I didn't have a chance to look deep into this, but this feels like a troll lawsuit to me. But it is interesting because the person that's suing Sony is suing them for. It used to be that you could buy the digital code for a PlayStation game.
Okay.
So you could buy a digital PlayStation game and get the code, and then I could sell the code. I could sell it to you. I could give it away. I could do whatever, right? Well, Sony doesn't allow that anymore. You buy it on your account. It's on your account, right? And this person is saying that by doing that, they've essentially created a monopoly for digital Sony PlayStation games because they're the only entity that you could buy a PlayStation game through. You can't buy, like, I can't buy a bunch of codes for Returnal and then be like, giving these away. Like, I'm going to sell these at 20% off. Like, even if I wanted to take a loss on it, I don't have that option because I can't transfer game ownership to other people. Now, you can do that stuff with other games, like. I think that I think there's some we can still buy like some Switch games and some Xbox games. You can buy a code. I know with a Humble Bundle you can buy like a Steam code and transfer it. So it's got an interesting. It's got and basically one of the quotes from the suit is Sony's monopoly allows it to charge super competitive prices for digital PlayStation games, which are significantly higher than their physical counterparts sold in a competitive retail market and significantly higher than they would be in a competitive retail market for digital games.
I feel like there is a point being made here.
Absolutely.
But like, what are you gonna do?
Well, you can take him to court.
Yeah, you take him to court, I guess,
and say you have to. I mean, this is one of the reasons why before I was talking about how much like I dislike American consumer rights laws. I feel are very weak.
Oh yeah,
like I think you should be able to return video games. And people, but you can just buy it and beat it and then take it back. And it's like, yep, that's fine.
Yep.
But you should be able to return video games because the problem is that scenario exists, but also the scenario where you buy No Man's Sky, take it home, put it in, and you've been sold a false bill of goods. That also happens. And in that case, you should be able to return your defective product to the store and be like, this is not what I was sold. The only way for me to know whether this game is what I wanted was to buy it and play it.
Right.
So if I buy it and play it and I have been lied to, you should accept this as a defective product because you don't allow people to be like, come on down, it's $1 steak night. And then you go down there and it's like, here's some fish sticks. That was what you get for $1. And it's like, well, it's $1 steak night, not $1 fish stick night. Well, you already did. I
you look like a gay
it.
fish.
I made it. You can't. I don't accept food returns. The end. So,
wow.
But yeah, it's interesting. It's got some interesting. I don't know. Again, I don't think this is going to go anywhere because right now there has not been a lot of traction in the direction of, Europe does this shit all the time, but like America is still we're still trying to get anybody to like, the only person who's got a problem with loot boxes in this country is fucking Josh Hawley, and I hate that guy. So, because it was like, yeah, loot boxes also protect the children and make all violent video games illegal, and I'm like, wait,
Whoa,
go back to the first part.
Whoa.
Also, a video game is flashing lights where there are explosions, and I'm like, wait, no, it's too broad. You got to talk.
God, that's so. Whew, that's I'm learning a lot today.
Good. I'll tell you what else you could learn.
Yep.
We had a rumor that was going around that Microsoft might be buying Discord.
Oh.
Because Discord is wildly unprofitable. Do you use Discord, Matt?
Sometimes
How much money have you given Discord?
you can give money to Discord.
Absolutely. It's called Discord Nitro. It's $5 a month. I actually pay for it.
Yeah, I don't.
Lets you stream better. So when
Oh.
I do a remoto, you don't get a 720p garbage stream. You get a full 1080p 60 stream from me.
Well, thank God.
Also, I guess I have access to like emotes or something. I don't know what that is.
Okay.
But in any case, Discord has been shopping around for independent investment or to be purchased. Xbox thought, nope. But apparently Discord or PlayStation has decided to buy a stake in Discord. And so the Discord app will actually be rolling out on PlayStation systems early next year.
How's that going to work?
I have no fucking idea.
I guess it just you run Discord and it lets you stream straight from your PlayStation.
Man, I'd rather eat my own teeth than type on a console.
I was gonna say, the whole like Discord is mostly just a messenger app kind of thing. Well,
it also does like video streaming. You can do conference stuff with it.
Yeah, I mean, I do it. I use it for remotos. I use it to talk to Kaiju Select and no one else. And I sometimes use it for podcasting, and that's it.
Yeah. So I don't know if this is a good thing. I do think that a lot of people use Discord. So if I can get any amount of money, I would like for them not to go. It would really suck if I had to shut down my Discord. I like the community.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I use Discord and Slack fucking blows. It's for old people that wear suspenders and slacks.
I was gonna say, I am forced to use Slack for a couple of different companies.
I fucking hate it.
Don't like it.
Fucking hate it.
I have to sit there and I'm like, oh, can I just double tap to like this? I have to like hold down and I have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
all people with suspenders.
In other PlayStation news, Housemark rolled out a fix for Returnal. There have been a lot of people with crashing problems in Returnal, and they rolled out a fix and then were forced to roll it back because apparently it was like not only was in certain cases it not working, but that if it was improperly applied to the game, then it would like corrupt the data and you'd have to start back over again, or you would have to uninstall the game and then like re-download the whole thing from scratch.
That's not good.
Yeah. The new patch though is already live. It went 1.3.4, which is essentially 1.3.1 but modified so that it doesn't fuck up your machine. The main thing here is if you haven't updated, and I don't know how that wouldn't have happened by now, Housemark really is advising you to not like update while the game is running. Like close the game and do not open it until the update is complete.
Okay.
As opposed to just letting it run in the background. In other Returnal news, we also found out that Returnal. So one of the big things with Returnal is that it's a roguelike. So when you die, you go back to the beginning. But runs of Returnal apparently can get very long, like multi-hours, and there's no option to like save and quit.
Oh.
Like the only option that they have right now is you could suspend your PlayStation 5, which should suspend the game that's running. Now, I don't ever do that because like there was a shitload of problems early on with like databases corrupting and problems if you go into rest mode. Also, rest mode keeps power drawing, and I don't want that. I want it to just be turned off. Like it actually makes me mad the PS5. You can't turn it, like the button on the front cannot be configured to turn it off. Only put it in rest mode.
It was just so funny, guys. I wish you could have seen Jeff turn crossly towards his PlayStation 5 and like give it this
jamming a finger at it.
Just this accusatory glance. And
put your finger at me. Just
you pointed at me. You pointed at me. Yeah.
So apparently Housemark said that they have heard that people would like the ability to stop mid-run. The end.
All right.
So who knows?
Cool.
I'm not entirely sure if I like Returnal at a certain point.
I didn't know about this until I saw it pop up on Rage Select, and I'm curious about the look of it, but I don't know.
I don't know. There's parts of it that like
I got to get so goddamn picky about video games these days. So probably I'm not gonna
you
play
play
it.
like 3 a year, so
I did really well last year. All it took was a global pandemic.
Well, there you go. Let's see. Let's shift out of Sony.
Oh.
And let's talk about Blizzard.
Oh.
Activision Blizzard.
Oh no.
So apparently Blizzard had a very good year last year. Their revenue grew 7% year over year. They also had 2 million fewer players than the year before.
Okay.
Apparently, It went from 29 million active users in Q4 of 2020 to 27 million in Q1 of 2021. This is not surprising to me. Blizzard has not been doing well recently.
Yeah.
Between some of the Warcraft stuff and some of the Overwatch stuff and some of the Diablo stuff, like, I don't know.
Well, you really got to want because that's a good. I was thinking about this the other day. Like, when was the last time Blizzard like had a win? Like, they had like a really big rollout, and it was everybody liked it.
Overwatch.
Yeah,
It was Overwatch.
when was that? 2015, 2016?
I don't remember.
It was a while ago.
Yeah.
And it's ever since then. Did Overwatch 2 get delayed? Did Overwatch 2 coming out?
Overwatch 2 is coming out. I don't think they ever actually had like a full-on release date for it, but it might have been scheduled at some point for last year, but I mean, it got fucked by the pandemic like everything else.
Well,
but.
of course, yeah. Because now I'm thinking about like I remember the whole Warcraft Reforged debacle, and that's the last thing I heard.
Oh, no.
Aren't they making Diablo 4?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
What else?
World of Warcraft. I cut that story. Yeah, World of Warcraft Shadowlands. World of Warcraft Classic Burning Crusade or something. Whatever so World of Warcraft Classic rolled it back to like 1.0 World of Warcraft.
Right.
But now they've been slowly integrating the expansions into the 1.0 World of Warcraft.
Uh-huh. So it's not 1.0 Warcraft anymore.
You get a choice about whether you want to stay with the current version or upgrade with everybody else. I find that whole thing to be absolutely redonkulous. Like a ridiculous donkey. It seems really stupid to me. And like, I'm not attached to any one video game that at this point, Matt, I just fucking nostalgia's they're just like reaching inside of you and pulling your strings with nostalgia. You know what? If somebody was like, hey, Jeff, you can never play Dark Souls again, I'd be like, oh, that sucks. I guess I'll play something that's not Dark Souls. Like, I don't need you to keep regurgitating my fucking childhood. Remember when you were in college and you played fucking World of Warcraft and it was way less complicated? Don't you want to go play that? Like,
remember
I
Dagobah?
really don't want to.
Remember feeling safe?
So,
yeah.
but prepare yourself because there was bad news also this week.
More?
Yes. Specifically related to Overwatch.
Oh, good.
Specifically related to Hong Kong and Taiwan and China. Yeah. Man, I don't ever want to fucking hear anybody talk about porno game censorship ever again as long as this fucking Hong Kong shit is going on. So what happened was there was a Korean Overwatch player whose name I will not totally butcher, who went by Jong Real Park, I'm just calling him Park, who was basically, he was a member of the Seoul Dynasty team, and he was
a cool name.
Streaming on Douyu, which is a Chinese streaming platform.
Okay.
And he mentioned Hong Kong and Taiwan, which according to China, you are not even allowed to fucking say. And he got into a bunch of shit. Okay, so far this story, meh, right? Meh, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you stream on Chinese Twitch and you said Hong Kong and then China freaked out. Oh my God. What really mads me though about this is apparently there's this like one China policy in fucking China where you're not allowed to do this shit. So the thing is that after this happened, he put a handwritten apology on Instagram saying, you can fucking stream in China, you get played by the rules, right? I apologize. I didn't mean to offend anybody, blah, blah, blah. But then in the Overwatch League, 4 Chinese Overwatch League teams, the Shanghai Dragons, the Chengdu Hunters, the Hangzhou Spark, and the Guangzhou Charge, I believe I said those right, all were basically like, we refuse to play in any competition if this guy is there, because we feel that his apology was not like deep or heartfelt enough for what he has done. And I'm like, go fuck yourself. Like, I don't believe in
What the fuck is? Well, you really got. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
So this has eventually been straightened out, where they said yes, we will play with them. I think it's because I think it's because somebody from Blizzard who runs Overwatch League was like, guys, look, China's a big market for us, but like we went to bat for you with that fucking the Twitch guy, right? Like with the Twitch guy on the stream that we knocked off, and we got bad press for like 9 months that we're still fucking getting for this. Like you need to, he apologized. You need to chill the fuck out, like and say that you'll fucking play. I think that this is horseshit of the highest magnitude. Like it is one thing, like, man, you know what? Like if I was to say on the stream, like, hey man, fucking free Hong Kong, like support for Hong Kong. I don't want fucking China sucks. I hate them, you know? And
somebody sample that and take it out of context.
Whatever, I don't care. Fucking take it out of context all you want. And the Chinese government is like, we declare Jeff from Rage Select, you are unwelcome in China. You can't come to China. I'd be like, okay, cool, that's all right. I accept the consequences of my actions. But if I'm just like, Hong Kong exists, and they're like, that's it, you suck and we hate you, and like that is against our national policy of never saying that Hong Kong exists, and I'm like, you don't get to fucking tell me what I can think. Hong Kong does exist, and I think they're allowed to do their own thing. Like, fuck you.
I mean,
I hate that shit so much.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I think that's fucked. I'm sitting here wondering about the motivations behind these Overwatch teams, because while it is true that there is a lot of nationalism in China, there is also just as much people who live there who think that their government's kind of horseshit. And especially a lot of them are people who are on the internet. And I have to wonder, but because it's China and because it's fucking inscrutable, the us dumbass whites over here, we're like, okay, well, so was it what they actually thought, or did the Chinese government come down on them to make them say that, or I don't know.
I guess I just like, you know, it's just been such a weird thing over the last couple of years where I'm like, hey, United States companies, I know there's a lot of fucking money in China, and I know that you want that money. I know that you love nothing but money. That all you want is money, and you don't give a shit, especially like Blizzard. Like, you know, I'm sure Overwatch fucking huge in China. Esports scene huge in China. You get a lot of money, but like, I don't know. I mean, I guess the problem is that when we go back to the Epic Store stuff, when we're talking about 115 million, we're talking about 7.9 billion, we're talking about these huge numbers, and it's just like, how much money do you make in the United States? Like, that first story about Blizzard was that Blizzard made 7.5% up last year, and like, I mean, we're going to get to the stories about how Activision's going to hire like 2,000 people over the next 2 years just to work on fucking Warzone, just to work on Call of Duty. And it's like, do you have to fucking spread your cheeks for this horse shit if you already have? Last week there was this story where Bobby fucking Kotick took a 50% pay cut, and he was still making like an $875,000 a year, right? Like, it was just like, fucking, can you just have any amount of like standing up and going like, no, I feel like your country uses social media to punish people and put the Uyghurs into the camps and like the fucking Hong Kong and the people in the streets, and like, maybe I don't want to do, maybe you've got a lot of money, but maybe I don't want to. Maybe I won't want to, you know, maybe I don't want to.
You really got to wonder. I mean, we really should get off this subject, but I really got to wonder, what is the worst case scenario if Blizzard were to say, he can just say whatever he wants. We're an American company, and it's our platform, and this guy can say whatever he wants. We're not going to punish him for it. What is the worst case scenario? Is the Chinese government going to ban Blizzard from doing business in China?
Maybe.
So here's the thing.
Quite possibly.
Let's say they do that.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. That's one of those things where you and I have talked in the past about the American government banning all porn or something. Like, fuck around and find out. See what happens. Yeah. It's like, okay, now you're going to have a lot of pissed off teenagers.
Yeah, the problem is that it's like they just don't care. I mean, they just don't care about anything but the money. So it's like Blizzard's been wrapping themselves into fucking pretzels to accommodate China and
Oh, yeah.
sports and all that stuff.
It must be a lot of money.
As near as I can tell, I mean, remember the amounts that we're dealing with here. So
This has been a fun episode.
we're only about halfway done, Matt. We also had let's move on to something more fun. So last week we actually got. I don't know if you saw this trailer.
I did. I watched. I got through them all.
Nintendo announced Game Builder Garage coming in June, which looks like it's taking kind of Super Mario Maker and then some of the programming aspects from the Nintendo Labo, and basically. Like Little Big Planet's been trying to make this same game for 15 years, and the Nintendo, I'm just like, ooh, but Nintendo's making it. I want to play that.
Yeah.
Where they have like they're putting the different programming parts of making a video game into these individual characters. They have a tutorial that allows you to basically learn the basics of programming, and then you can create games, and you can use the screen to draw art in. Apparently, if you hook it up to the dock, you can they'll use a mouse as an input method. So you can literally use that stuff, and then you can put it online. Now, this seems a little weird to me because, like when I guess maybe Nintendo got tired of people making Super Mario Brothers and Little Big Planet, and they were just like, if you're going to make it, fucking make it on our platform.
Yeah, make a Mario on a Mario.
But I love this.
It looks very charming, and of course, because it's Nintendo, it's going to have all this polish to it.
Yeah.
And I mean, you and I talked a little bit about this last week, but you and I both, I downloaded the audiobook for the Super Mario.
The Nintendo story.
The Nintendo story, based on your recommendation. And yeah, this sort of thing just has Nintendo all over it. This is the sort of thing that I bet someone showed this to Miyamoto, and he was like, "Fucking yes."
Well, I feel like, I mean, again, that they've been dipping their toe in this space. Actually, if you listen to that book, a lot of it probably goes back to the fact that like Miyamoto really wanted to make some like educational games to teach kids stuff, and they just didn't work very well.
Well, they didn't
or even
work.
Like Mario Paint, where people have fond memories of Mario Paint, but like how many hours did you really spend in Mario Paint?
I mean, yeah, it's like a combination of, it's because of the limitations of the technology, they also weren't like huge sellers.
True.
So, and so this definitely like it kind of takes Miyamoto's ethos and kind of runs with it.
Yeah.
I think this sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds really charming.
Yep.
No Smash Brothers, so dislike.
Actually, this one only has 6 dislikes.
I know.
But
which you really gotta wonder.
But I wouldn't be surprised if the little robot from this trailer turns out to be a Smash Brothers assist trophy at some point.
That would be so cool.
Or just these guys, all these little
guys.
They're so good.
They're so cute.
Like character design.
Oh yeah, it's like it's an effect. It's a constant. It's a texture.
But okay, we're gonna have to take a break.
Jesus Christ!
In a minute, but. Before we do, we got just a couple more Nintendo stories that I want to run through here.
All right.
Because lest you look at all this and be like, oh, Nintendo, they're so adorable, and I love them as a company. Should also be worth mentioning that last year was the most profitable year that Nintendo has ever had.
Ever.
2020 was.
Wow. That's that Animal Crossing money.
Nintendo saw a 34.4% increase in sales to, Matt, $16.1 billion and an 85.7% spike in net profit, reaching $4.39 billion.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So remember, the Nintendo does make fun, cute stuff, but Nintendo also makes fucking hella money. I
remember back when the Wii U was floundering.
Yeah.
And there was all this, not even necessarily industry chatter. It was just chatter on the internet. People saying like, "Was one of the other companies gonna buy Nintendo? Is Nintendo gonna fucking what did they say? Oh, is Nintendo only gonna turn into a developer for just for games and like Sega did? Are they gonna go the Sega route? Are they gonna stop doing consoles?" And I saw an article. I don't know if you shared it or somebody else shared it, but the article was this guy who's like an industry analyst, and he said, "You have any idea how deep Nintendo's pockets are?
Their war chest is amazing.
They can weather They can weather just about anything. They have a theme park now.
Yeah, they have. so much goddamn money. It's kind of amazing. I mean, the thing is that when people were say stuff like that about the Wii U, and it's like, right, guys, but like the Wii U may not have been the most profitable, but then that came after the Wii, which was insanely profitable.
Yeah, it's like
which then came after the GameCube, which was not so profitable. But that came after the N64, which was very profitable.
Which came after the Super NES, which came after the Nintendo, which was all these just hit.
Yeah.
And again, that in that book has detailed the insane reach that Nintendo has of all the other shit they do. Mm-hmm. They own Pokemon. For Christ's sakes, people.
Yep.
Like, I don't think you... and the reason why people were saying that is because the Wii U was floundering, and is because the people who didn't play... The people saying that were people who did not play Wii games and did not give a shit about the Wii, who were saying they wanted the Wii U to be competing with the PS3 and the Xbox 360 at the time.
Sure.
That's what... And because it wasn't competing and because it was floundering, they were like, oh, well, Nintendo's done.
Yeah.
And it's like... Do you not?
It's actually really interesting because when you think about it, the three, between Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, it's like all of them are like Nintendo has the deep pockets, but then like fucking how many TVs does Sony sell and phones and fucking like all these consumer electronics? Microsoft gets a cut of the OS on every fucking computer that gets sold.
Yeah, Microsoft is Microsoft.
Yeah, so like. The idea that any of these companies are going to be like, whoops, had a bad year in video games, going out of business. It's like Sega, it took Sega like 20 years to fail. Like they
were top of Sega, well, they went too fast. They tried to do too many consoles at once. They went too fast, and Sonic shattered his finger.
Okay.
Okay.
Last but not least, we're gonna close out with what my favorite piece of Nintendo news for the week. So Nintendo had that redacted document that they put up in the Apple case,
yes.
Right? And one of the items in that redacted document was specific clauses that if you work with Nintendo, you do not work with any Yakuza interests. Mm-hmm. Not the game franchise Yakuza.
No, like the
criminal organization, the Yakuza. So, okay. This brings to light, I feel like Hermes in Futurama. I'm just like, that just raises further questions. So I'm like, okay, this is what I want to know, Matt, and I want to know it real bad. Mm-hmm. So if Nintendo specifically bars Japanese companies that work with Nintendo from working with the Yakuza, does that mean that other video game developers that don't work with Nintendo do work with the Yakuza?
So here's the thing. I know that we're sitting here thinking like, okay, here's the thing. You guys, this is when Matt gets to put his weeb.
Wait, don't say anything the Yakuza come to my house for. I don't want the Yakuza at my house. I don't want Kiryu Kazama to hit me with a bike. Okay, I do not want to
have a bike that has Jeff's name on it.
There's a vacuum cleaner right next to you, and that man will kill me with it. Okay, I can't take those beatdowns.
No. You're fine. I gotta put my Matt professional. What did it? Oh yeah, I was called the White Samurai on Rage Select for a while.
Tom Cruise.
I want to bring that back. I'm gonna put my White Samurai cap on, and I'm gonna say, here's the thing. Based on what I understand, and the article might go into more detail about this, but what I understand is that it is fairly common for certain companies to have to for one reason or another have dealings with the Yakuza.
Okay.
Either for
is that Yakuza 4 or Like a Dragon?
Like a Dragon.
Okay.
No, you either have to sometimes it's about land ownership.
Sure.
Sometimes if you own office space, that office building might have to have Yakuza ties because it's owned by it's in a certain Yakuza group's territory.
Okay.
Or you could just have one of the shipping companies you work with. Maybe they have to pay a stipend, pay protection money or something.
So it's kind of like in a weird way, it's kind of like a weird morality clause, right?
Yeah.
Like that you got to make sure that it's like 100% on the up and up.
Yeah.
And that you just can't deal with anything because we don't want it to ever get out that if somebody that we worked with some guy and he's shady.
And in Japan, if your company has a certain image, then yes, that would be devastating. And I mean, the thing is that, but of course, you know, you and I talked a little bit about this, about going to Japan and like how there's this a culture of politeness where it's kind of also a don't ask, don't tell, like, but they still don't want. It's a complicated culture. And it's really hard to understand if you're just a guy in Texas talking into a microphone.
All right. Well, with that, we're going to go ahead and take a break.
All right.
I got to make sure that Kiryu isn't outside.
Yeah,
so
he's out there.
Is
He's
he
waiting.
out there? Oh,
He's
God
waiting.
damn it. I got to call Goro. Only Goro Majima can distract him long enough for me to fucking get away.
But if Archer is with you, Kiryu will just give him good pets and tell him he's a good boy.
That's true. And you're pretty childlike. We might be able to pull this off. Hold on. We'll be back in a minute, everybody. He was doing a side mission, and he was like, "I'll get back to you." And I was like, "Okay, Mr. Kazama."
Yeah, we the skin of our teeth.
He drove by. He was shooting a bunch of like missiles that were coming from like an 18-wheeler behind him.
Yeah,
and I was like,
it was a little crazy.
Okay,
but
you're at the end of Kiwami. Like, I'll see you after like 5 when you're grandpa or 6.
And you know, we're good.
Yes,
Everybody's safe.
I don't think that
Archer, you did good.
The Kiryu Kazama is
very good.
Is going to anybody who doesn't know Archer's my dog. Anyway, speaking of,
I think everybody knows Archer's your dog.
well, maybe.
Yeah.
Speaking of Kiryu Kazama, it was Judgment Day today.
Oh, was it?
As of the day that we're recording this.
I missed it. I missed going. Oh, I was thinking about the rapture. I didn't get raptured, Jeff.
Oh well, you're a heathen, so
I know. I'm a dirty heathen.
No, we got there's going to be a sequel to Judgment.
Yeah,
which I'm super fucking excited about.
When I saw the trailer for this, I only saw the title and I was like, wait, what? Okay, I didn't register that this was a sequel to Judgment.
Yes.
And
because it's not called Judgment 2, it's called Lost Judgment.
Yeah, I thought it's like, what is this, like a JRPG?
Yeah.
Like, is this going to be a fantasy game? And no, and then I love the tagline in the beginning. It's like, it was a normal day in court until it wasn't.
Dun, dun, dun. Well, no, one of the reasons I love Judgment is because they were like, what if Phoenix Wright kicked people's asses like Kiryu Kazama? And I'm like, sold.
Yes.
Sold, 100% sold.
I don't know why I thought you didn't really care for the first Judgment.
Loved it.
Okay.
You know what? It's possible that when we did the dojo, I might have been a little, here's a little insider baseball for people.
Oh.
Some days I do a dojo and I'm just in a bad mood. And it affects what happens. Like I'm not an emotional monolith. Someday I'm just I woke up from having Taco Bell and I had a bad dream, and then like there was a bunch of bad news and I couldn't find anything to watch on YouTube, and then it's time to play the game and I'm like, meh.
Look, we all know of Jeff as this unmoving emotional paragon.
Cantankerous bitch, I believe is what they called me on.
Sure. Cantankerous bitch is pretty good. That's the next prog ska dubstep.
That's what it says on the back of all of my yoga pants. It just says cantankerous bitch right across the butt.
We gotta. Oh shit! I think we found our next Rage Select merchandise.
We're gonna sell ladies only Rage Select merchandise. It just says cantankerous bitch across the butt.
Yes.
No yoga pants for men that says anyway.
Yes.
Lost Judgment is a sequel to Judgment. It looks fucking amazing.
It's crazy town.
Not just that, but like, if you watched all the way to the end, you won't believe what happens next. This shit's coming out this year. It's coming out in 2021.
Wow. I mean, it looks like they're reusing a lot of the same art assets, so that probably made it a lot easier to make.
So what's really interesting is that I sent you this trailer, but I didn't send you the big conference. But the thing is that this is, to me, one of the smartest things that the Go guy, that whatever the fucking
or whatever,
whatever the name of the company is that makes Ryuga Gotoku Studio does, is that this game takes place half in Kamurocho and the other half in Yokohama, which was the city from Like a Dragon. So it's like the environments are done. And like when you look at the character models are done. Not just that, they put out the PlayStation 5 version, which means that the upgrade to next gen is done. So what's left is making the story and some enhancements. So some of the things that may not have come entirely through, because the trailer is all story. It's all story. But the weird thing about about any of the games that the studio makes is that like you feel like you've got like kind of a handle on what's going on when you start watching the trailer, but as it keeps going on, it's 5 fucking minutes long, and you're just like, wait a minute, well, what's happening here? What's going on here?
Yeah, who is this and what is this and who is that and what
is that? So some of the new things, there were 2 fighting styles in the previous game. There was like the one-on-one fighting style, and there was like a group fighting style. It was like Crane and Tiger or something, but there's going to be a third one now called Snake. That's like as the real slippery kind of dex build kind of stuff. Part of this is going to be that the main character, whose name always escapes me, has to go undercover at a high school. So there's going to be a bunch of Japanese high school bullshit.
Yay.
Now, the thing is that I'm pretty sure from what I saw, though, that he's going to be like a teacher, because I'm like, there's no way this guy can be a fucking...
He's going to be walking around with a skateboard on his shoulder going like, hello, fellow kids.
Well, he actually does skateboard. And they actually, there was a part where they were showing this skateboarding. There also seems to be a pretty heavy theme of like anti-bullying being a thing in this trailer.
Yeah.
But
I can't. Oh shit! Are we gonna beat up a bunch of high school street toughs?
I don't know.
I hope so.
A lot of the stuff that seems to involve him, like the main character. God, what is his fucking name? Yagami is his name. With him seems to be like fighting adults. Like I haven't seen a lot of him. Well, but I don't know. There's a lot of like, we played the beginning of Judgment, right?
Yeah.
We were walking around in Kamurocho, and guys just like, I'm trying to get takoyaki. You want to get your ass kicked, guy? And then like red fire comes off of him and you die.
Yeah, well, that'll happen.
Yeah.
That guy had Freddy Krueger claws,
Yep.
which I guess are just hand pruning shear things. But
there's a lot of weird shit
gardening
going
gloves.
on here. There's a lot of weird shit going on in this trailer. I mean, like I told you where the last game goes from where it starts.
Yeah,
and like
it's kind of crazy.
The all of the Yakuza games start like in one place and then just go crazy. I think there's this interesting part though where they show these guys squaring off, where this one character was it's the main character, his Yakuza buddy, and then this like Guy Fawkes mask guy who ends up, he's a major character in the first one.
Okay.
Who's like a kind of hacker, thiefy, informant guy. And then this other guy that kind of looks like Kiryu Kazama, like the weird.
Well, he looks like another
but-
Yakuza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I couldn't be more excited. I love this.
I'm super happy for you. It looks dramatic. It looks like fun.
Yep, it's gonna be over the top. It's gonna be fucking crazy. There's a lot more information out there. One of the big things though that came out of this was that moving forward, this I think is going to be really controversial for people. Moving forward, Judgment is going to be the third-person action franchise from the studio, and Yakuza is going to be the turn-based RPG franchise. So they're sticking with the Like a Dragon turn-based RPG stuff.
Okay.
So the Yakuza franchise is moving to that, which actually makes sense if they follow the I believe it's Ichi is the main character from Like a Dragon. If they follow his story there, because, and you know what? I just want to take a moment to say that one of the reasons that I love this shit so much is because it seems like moving forward that they are retiring fucking Kiryu Kazama as one of the major characters in this game. Like he'll probably show up from time to time in a cameo, or other characters like Goro Majima might show up from time to time. But I'm really glad because that motherfucker had 7 mainline entry games from the PlayStation 2 era all the way until like 2 years ago. And like he's a grandpa now, and like let's go to the new guy. And the new guy is great. And this guy is great. Everybody's great. I love everything. The end. Podcast over. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, and that's the other thing is that the games are not called Kiryu Kazama. The games are called Yakuza.
Yes.
And you could theoretically make them about anybody who is just a Yakuza character. And I think that's
Well, it's funny because they've already done some of that. Like in 0, you switch between Kiryu and Goro Majima. In 4, there were like 4, I think, different characters. There was like a cop and like a loan shark and like a homeless guy. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy because you have to play Yakuza 4 for like 10 hours before Kiryu shows up, and then you're but see, even that is just like, I don't know. I think it's because I think that one of the reasons that I'm willing to give this genre or give this franchise so much more slack than I am like JRPGs and any of that other shit is that, one, I like the fact that it's modern day and not a lot of like RPGs or big games outside of like Rockstar games do modern day. And 2, it's an action game. So it's like you don't have to grind slimes for 20 hours to get the guy that you wanted to get Cloud to show up, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you're walking around, they'll always write these compelling crime stories, and then fucking 10 hours in, Kiryu Kazama fucking puts on his jacket because he's like, I gotta go to fucking Kamurocho. You're just like, oh, right, shit, he's in here too. Like, I was so wrapped up about what this rookie cop had been up to on his first day of the job, and he got embroiled with this murder with this loan shark. Anyway, I can do that for too long.
With your love of, it's just, I remember we had a conversation a while back, and you were talking, I think you said something about how, like, I think you messaged me and you said, what would Kiryu Kazama look like if he were a kaiju or something? And I said, there is a Kiryu. It's one of the Mecha Godzillas.
Yeah.
And that made me think like, oh yeah, I need to show Jeff those movies because they're basically Pacific Rim.
He's got the big jacket on. Does Godzilla run into him when he's coming out of a bar drunk, and he's just like,
I mean, that's basically,
hey, man.
That's basically all Godzilla does is just drunkenly stumble around looking for people to fight.
Turns around real slow, just gives him the side eye, and then it's like, he picks up a building to do his fucking EX attack on him with.
Man, you're really kind of nailing the whole vibe of a Millennium Era Godzilla movie.
All right.
Yeah. No, I'm excited for you. Matt does not have time for Yakuza games, unfortunately, but
I think it's really a shame because I feel like
I probably
you
really
would like
enjoy them.
any of them. I bet you would like any of them.
I like what I've seen when we play them, but yeah, I'll probably give it a.
You know what? I mean, I don't know. Like, I've had this idea for a long time. It's just the problem is that the games are so fucking long. It's the idea of doing a sequential on one of the Yakuza games.
I would be, but like you said, I mean, they're really fucking long.
You know, I would just have to look it up. Like, it might just be like, we are just going to do the main story, and then in between, I'm going to do all the side missions,
right,
so that we're powerful enough to do the main story. Because, like, the main story of Yakuza 1, you go back and play Kiwami, it's fucking great. Anyway,
all right.
Less great news. Rainbow Six. Apparently, Ubisoft Montreal got swatted by like this dude what cheats at Rainbow Six Siege that got banned a bunch of times.
What?
Yeah, I'm not going to say the guy's name, but it was apparently an indictment in France that said that like there's this guy that was playing Rainbow Six Siege and like has been banned. What did it say? 80 times for like, cheating and doing shit. Apparently, at one point he threatened to terrorize Ubisoft to death. According to the indictment, he said this was in order to get, quote, all the keys to Rainbow Six and access to commands to ban people, or I'm going to fucking kill you guys. Like, what? People take Rainbow Six really seriously, apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
Apparently, this guy had said, I didn't actually do any of that, but, you know, so... This is just your friendly reminder that video games are just like they're fun.
You're supposed to play them, and then if you don't like them, you stop playing.
If you get so mad that you're going to send death threats to companies, you shouldn't do that. You should go find a different hobby. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe go do something else.
Yeah, you should get really into like fucking playing metal guitar. You know.
Yeah, maybe learn a skill.
Yeah,
or
like learn how to do that thing where you run up a wall and do a flip.
Yeah, learn how to do parkour.
Yeah, do parkour. Do some hardcore parkour.
Hardcore. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
He swatted the company?
Yep.
You know, you could do that.
Yep. It was the whole thing where they called in a threat, and then like the police showed up and they evacuated the place, and nothing happened. But
that's wild.
Let's see. Another what the fuck were you thinking news. Last week, we had a story where Humble Bundle, the charity, was going to remove the slider that allows you to choose like how much goes to what charity.
Uh-huh.
And basically, they had said they were going to cap it out at like 15% of what you pay is going to go. 50% of what you pay is going to go to them, and then it was a weird thing where like basically they're taking away the people's ability to move the sliders around and choose where they wanted the money to go. Now that proved to be incredibly unpopular, and they are now walking it back. They're saying they're going to kind of like go back and re-examine it, but that they are not moving forward with that particular concept, which I think is probably good. Yeah, it's probably good. I don't know. I still was thinking last week that it's like, you know, if the slider allows people to give like no money to either Humble or the developer and give like all the money to charity, like I could see how it could be a difficult business to run if you gave people an option and then they just kept being like, no money for you, fuck you.
Yeah, so. I could see that. I could see the difficulty in it, but yeah.
But they're going to try some new stuff. They are going to make some changes, but they're just rolling back this one particular change.
All right.
Let's see. Speaking of money, Microsoft apparently, from the same court documents of the Apple Epic stuff, apparently was considering. Last week we had a story where Microsoft announced that they are reducing the amount of money they will take from games sold on the PC, Xbox, Microsoft Game Store to 12%. So Steam takes 30%. Epic has reduced them down to 12%. Microsoft on the PC is reducing it to 12%. But apparently, at a certain point, they were also talking about reducing it on the console store as well to a 12% split. Now, they're not doing that. And apparently, there are no plans where they're re-examining, but there's nothing in concrete or set in stone.
Right.
I'm a big fan of giving... I think that 30% is too much to take.
Yeah, more money for the developer, maybe, and less money for the privilege of putting it on our store.
I mean, there is a value, right?
Sure,
inherent in that, but it gets a little crazy.
Yeah.
Especially when you have a company like Microsoft, where it's just like, man, I don't know. I've gotten really stuck recently mad about this. I was like, do you not have enough money? Is there not enough money in the thing that you're doing? Then, like, do you really have to have like every single fucking money?
All
like,
of the money.
Anyway,
yeah, I'm with you on that.
Let's see. In other Xbox news, I don't know if you know this, but on the Xbox Series X, there's a thing called FPS Boost, where basically it's amazing and I love it. Old Xbox One games that have compatibility have the option on the Series X to basically use the extra power when you run those games to boost their frame rate. So like Watch Dogs 2 ran at 30 frames per second on the console. It runs at 60 frames per second in backwards compatibility mode on the Series X.
All right.
So it's like the last generation games that work better. In fact, that's the reason I ended up, I was telling you before, I was playing Super Lucky's Tale was one of the games that got an FPS boost so that it ran from 30 to 60.
Oh, wow.
And so I just downloaded it from Game Pass because it's on Game Pass, and I fucking beat it. So,
jeez.
But up until now, there had been... what was it? There were something like 23 games previously that did the FPS boost. Well, they just added like an additional 74 games, so it's now up to like 90 some odd that have the FPS boost.
Right.
Some of the ones in the list, there's 74, so I'm not going to read them all, but like the Assassin's Creed Ezio Collection, Dying Light, Far Cry New Dawn, Lego Worlds, Metro Last Light, Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition, Yakuza 6, Untitled Goose Game. Untitled Goose Game actually runs at 120 because some of these run at 120 FPS.
Jeez, well, I guess it's easier to run 120, but wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
right.
Yeah, I think there is an immense amount of value in... I keep saying this every week, but like I like the fact that Microsoft has found like a third way. Like instead of just going head to head in the like exclusivity game and like, you know, oh well our stuff plays, like considering the fact that the Xbox One had a lot more backwards compatibility than the PlayStation 4 for obvious reasons, because Xbox 360 games are closer to PC games than PS3 games are. It's like the Xbox Series X can play Xbox One games better than an Xbox One, 360 games, and original Xbox games, as well as everything new that's coming out. So, like,
Ooh.
yeah, like Resident Evil Village, as well as fucking Fusion Frenzy, right? Which is impressive considering that none of the other consoles, like I can't play GameCube games on my Switch.
Yeah.
I can play I can play any PS4 game on PS5, but I can't play PS3 games. I can't play very limited number of PS3 and PS2 games, but
I mean, hey, you know what? I mean, good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them for playing the Game of Thrones.
yes. Which, briefly just consider, they've got that. They've got one of the things I forgot to say is that in order to get the 88-12 split on the PC games, you have to sign a deal that lets Microsoft run those games on their xCloud streaming service. So, like, they're giving those developers more money, but then they're also bolstering the number of games that you can play on a phone or on a PC through a browser, because that's like Google Stadia, right? So you think about this, you got the backwards compatibility, you got compatibility with new games, you got all of the ZeniMax, Obsidian, Double Fine like acquisitions, as well as going directly head to head with like Stadia and Nvidia Enforce or Shield or whatever the streaming one is they have. It's like, Microsoft is really just like, we don't need to dominate every market, but we want a toehold in every market. And especially when you consider that, like, if you get Game Pass Ultimate, you get Xbox games, you get PC games, you get xCloud games, and you can install them and be like, oh my God, it works great. I should buy other games from Microsoft for this. So, like, I wonder, I don't know if we're still living in a paradigm where somebody quote unquote wins, because who the fuck won the last generation? Did PlayStation or did Nintendo, or like who the fuck cares?
At this point, it's also like, there's no, Nintendo's not competing with anybody anymore. They're Nintendo. And
it's like two people playing basketball and then Nintendo's just playing fucking, badminton over by themselves. I won again.
and then like with PlayStation and Xbox, that feels like it's kind of over, not because somebody won, but because it's a question of, again, what do you want? What do you want?
Yeah.
And it's like, and I think that now what we're seeing is, like you said, Microsoft is coming at this in a very particular way. Sony is coming at this in a very particular way. I don't know.
Yep. It'd be interesting to see, because I think that if we take Nintendo out of the equation because they're a fucking wild card, right? Since Sony and Nintendo have been since Microsoft and PlayStation and Sony have been going up against each other, right? I think that in that first PS2 Xbox generation, that PlayStation 2 fucking won. I'm not saying the PlayStation, I'm not saying original Xbox was bad or anything. I'm just saying that, like,
but PlayStation 2 had the library.
The library was just ridiculous.
Yeah. They completely dominated that generation.
And then you go to the next generation, and like eventually I think they eked out some amount of parity, but fucking Microsoft, the Xbox 360 ate the PlayStation 3's lunch for years. And then, you kind of move to the last generation where it's like you had all that Kinect Xbox stuff at the beginning, and Sony got a big leg up. They also do better in Japan. They do way better in Europe, right? And now it's like, it's weird. It's very weird. Like I have both of them, and I'm constantly just like right now, like I have to record Resident Evil Village tomorrow, and I'm just like, which one should I get it for? Like, I don't care which. Like, I don't like one. I like the haptic feedback on the PS5 controller better, but sometimes the Xbox stuff runs a little better because it's just a PC that's slightly faster, and anyway. Speaking of next generation games that run real fast,
yes,
we had a really fun thing. I don't know if your wife knows about this, but EA put out a tool that you can use to answer. You can answer a questionnaire, and it basically makes a Mass Effect Legendary Edition front of the game like wallpaper based on what you answer. So like, here I'll hit auto create, and like it makes, like, this one came up with, it's blue, like kind of Paragon, and it's got Liara as like front and center. It's got Tally and the Geth dude, and like So, but like when you do this, you could just say, you could just keep doing it, and like it'll be a different group of characters in the kind of configuration, depending on what you want to do. And it could be like half Paragon. Now you can't do it. You can't choose. You can't like directly choose, which is a pain in the ass because it means that you can't
you can't like make position stuff a certain way, and
well, you can't also make Oops All Garrus, which I'm sure is what everybody wants to do.
that's what Morgan would do. Morgan would make Oops All Garrus, and
but there were a few. This came from a Kotaku article where they talked about. Here's one called "All Human Characters Are Garbage" that just has everybody that's not a human sidekick. This one's called Gaslight Gatekeep Girl Boss, and it's just all the lady characters.
Oh, jeez.
So it's a pretty fun little thing. It's,
Yeah, well, I just in the 30 seconds you started talking about that, I immediately found that article and sent it to Morgan to make doubly sure that she knows about it. She is, as I've said, she has definitely carved out that time in her schedule where there's going to be a couple of days where I'm not going to see her.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to come downstairs and I will not be talking to her because she will throw something at me if I interact with her. So
I just keep coming back. I mean, I don't know. Like I keep coming back to the idea of it. And I'm just like, I don't want to play all 3 of those games again. Like I don't even know if I want to play one of those games again. Like I feel like I really wrung the Mass Effect well all the way down to the bone. So.
Yeah, but just then you got people like Morgan who these are some of her favorite games.
Yeah,
and she doesn't. They hit all the right. They hit all the right. What's the word I'm looking for? They tickle the balls of the particular things that
they check all the boxes.
There you go.
They tickle the balls.
Yeah, for whatever reason, those particular brand of BioWare games are what Morgan looks for in games.
Lots of people really like them. Mm-hmm. I'm fine with them. I guess I feel like I played them. I beat them. I'm done.
You're moving on. Yeah, I get it.
Speaking of moving on,
woo.
Some companies are moving on from E3 this year. Specifically, Sony does not appear to be coming to E3. But we did get a report that Square Enix, Sega, Bandai Namco, and a few more folks have signed on for E3 2021.
Okay.
It'll be interesting because that's kind of right around the corner. But yeah, we also found out that Xseed, Gear, and Gearbox are going to be there as well, which is shaping up to be kind of interesting. We already know that Nintendo, Xbox, Capcom, Ubisoft, Take-Two, Warner Brothers, and Koch Media are going to be there. And this is going to be like a fully virtual E3 this year, which will be interesting. Very strange.
Yeah.
One person who's not going to be at E3 is Konami.
Oh, the deuce you say.
Well, this is a weird thing where they put out a statement where they said, due to timing, we will not be ready to present at E3 this year. We want to reassure our fans that we are in deep development on a number of key projects, so please stay tuned for some updates in the coming months. And I was just like, what? Konami, I thought you guys said like 3 years ago, you're like, no, just fitness clubs and pachinko machines. We don't give a shit. Also, we will never sell any of our IPs to anybody else so they can make Castlevania games. We are going to just hold the IPs to fucking Metal Gear and then not make any video games because fuck you. That's my name. So, like, what the fuck? There's like this one game that they announced, Getsu Fumaden, Undying Moon. Were you on when we talked about that?
Yeah, we talked about that, and I thought it looked interesting, except then we realized I think it was a roguelite or something. I'm like, never mind then.
But like, what the fuck are you guys making? There's only one thing I want out of you, Konami, and it's like a full HD remake of the original Metal Gear with the original audio track. I don't want you to re-record anything. I don't trust you.
Weird new voice acting.
Yeah. Or even just like a PC port of Twin Snakes the mod community can fix by putting all the cutscenes back to the way they used to be. I know why they were changed, but I don't like them. I preferred it when Solid Snake was not an Avenger, okay? I don't... If you could pick one Konami property to bring back, what would it be?
Oh, shit. I'm trying to remember all the stuff that is Konami. Castlevania, Silent Hill, Metal Gear.
It's PES soccer, isn't it?
Well, I mean, we have Captain Tsubasa.
Oh, that's right.
So what the fuck?
Right. What else do you need? Why do you even need other video games?
Nothing else.
Quit swatting Ubisoft. You've got Captain Tsubasa Rise of Champions. What the hell else? What the hell else could you possibly need?
I was gonna say I got a text back from Morgan.
Yeah.
She says, "Yeah, I've been having fun with it. Someone on Reddit posted one that is all Garrus."
Oh, okay. I guess they just photoshopped it together.
Probably, yeah.
Contra.
Now I'm wondering. Okay,
Oh man, remember that terrible Contra game that came out a few years back?
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like I never really got to. I feel like Castlevania. I feel like Silent Hill was a franchise I probably could have gotten into. Could have been my gateway into horror games.
Yeah.
And
Not too spooky? Not too spooky for you?
not. There's a quality
Pretty
to it,
spooky.
I think, that is pretty spooky, but not in a way that activates my anxiety like certain horror games do. I don't know. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. I more feel bad for all the people who are fans of Castlevania and Metal Gear and all that who are just don't get anything anymore.
Yeah.
You know what it is? I bet you the success of the Castlevania Netflix series probably made Konami think like, maybe we should get back into making things.
They're just a real cantankerous fucking shitlord of a company.
Yeah.
Like they suck so bad. Like
Yeah, we don't like you, Konami.
yeah, like what my dream is if they would sell the rights to those franchises to other companies.
Right.
You know, just like
Or just farm them out, or don't even have to sell the rights. You can just license it.
I was gonna say I bet Platinum would make you a Revengeance too, but I bet they wouldn't because they're making like actually, you know what, Matt? Did you watch the video that we did for that Platinum game that came out on the Apple Arcade, like the World of Demons or whatever, that looks a lot like Okami, except it's like a third-person action game?
No, I don't think I did see that.
Yeah, that Platinum made. It's really, really, really weird.
I do like Platinum. I like Platinum as a developer, and of course, I'm sitting here thinking like, you guys said you were doing Okami too. You know, I'm just waiting for that. And I think they're also doing like an Ultraman type game, not an Ultraman licensed game, but it's like a giant hero because they did.
There's that teaser.
Yeah, they did Beautiful Joe, and then they did Wonderful 101.
Right, and there's supposed to be another one.
Supposed to be like an Ultraman style giant hero, giant monster thing.
Speaking of giant monsters, Call of Duty is a giant monster.
Is it?
It's a giant monster of a franchise.
Is it now?
Look at my transitions. It is very
You're Jeff
making it work. We found out, we got confirmation that Call of Duty 2021 is being developed by Sledgehammer, which is somewhat interesting news. We also got, as I mentioned before, confirmation that Activision is looking to hire 2,000 developers over the next 2 years and wants to triple the franchise team sizes for Call of Duty. I don't know. This is one of those Fortnite things, Matt, but Call of Duty Warzone is incredibly popular and profitable.
Really?
I mean, Jason fucking Murphy plays it.
Oh, yeah, he does.
So, that should tell you a little something about it. But the thing that really just bums me out about this, though, is that, like, I wonder, Activision has not been great about hiring 2,000 developers and then, like, when the game ships, firing like 500 of them. And downsizing.
That is just kind of par for the course of the game industry these days.
It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be.
It should
it's
not
bad.
be. Because
this is why whenever people are like, "Why don't you go work for a game developer?" It's like, because I don't want to be fired in a year.
Yeah. Who else does that? What other fucking company is like, hey, we launched our new product, everybody's fired, go home? Like,
I mean, a lot of nowadays movie studios are really getting into that. They'll just shutter whole effects studios because they're like, you made our $1 billion movie, bye.
Well, see, the reason I'm really, really like worried about this is I did not see. Well, I probably should have seen this coming, but I didn't. Toys for Bob has now been absorbed into Activision to do work on Call of Duty. Now, apparently, like, this was known and it was kind of coming. Like, a lot of the head creative talent, like the character designers and stuff, like, left.
Oh, no. Really?
Yeah. But Toys for Bob, I mean, they did the Crash 4, they did Spyro remake, they did some Skylander stuff. I think they're a very, very good developer, which in a lot of ways is good. I mean, it's good to have good developers making games. It's just like I wish they were making games that I wanted to play.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, great. Now, when are you going to make something else? Like,
Yeah.
But again, but I'm sitting here thinking like, oh my god, it's this developer that's had carved this new niche for themselves.
Yeah.
Of making these retro style platformer adventure games and remaking older stuff, and then whoop, now they're doing Warzone, and it's like what
in but 25 years time, Matt, everyone works for Call of Duty Warzone. All video games are now inside of Call of Duty Warzone. You no longer buy an Xbox. You just play Warzone, and then you go to the place where the game is that you want to play, and then you just zoom into the arcade and start playing the game you want to play.
Jeff, that I know you're kind of kidding, but that makes me really sad. That notion.
Yeah.
Anyway,
let's see. In other news that neither you nor I, nor many people listening will probably care even a little bit about, Ubisoft announced the new Division game, The Division Heartland, which is going to take place in, I guess, like Middle America and Heartland. It's also going to be free to play, which should tell you a lot about what kind of game it's going to be. And, you have to make the money somehow.
Yeah.
They wouldn't put the game out unless they were going to make some amount of money. So get ready to buy weapon skins and character skins and skins and just all kinds of skins.
Want to play as you want to play with a Wonder Woman skin?
I don't know if they will go that far.
They'll do it.
Do you think they'll do it?
They'll do it because Marvel all got up in Fortnite.
Sure. But everybody got up in Fortnite. There was a fucking Master Chief skin for Fortnite.
I know,
so.
but I'm saying that that means DC isn't going to want to touch it. They're going to be like, "Hey, Division, can we put some Green Lantern stuff in your game?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have tried for years to give any amounts of shits about the Division, but it just seems like a really boring, stupid game to me.
I think we played that last Division game or one of the last ones, and I remember you and I were both. I don't fucking remember.
Run up to the White House.
Yeah, the White House one, and I'm like, I remember we were playing it. And I'm like,
this is boring.
This is boring. Play something else.
It's like whenever I play something like Destiny, and I'm just like, I'm doing all the right stuff. I'm throwing a grenade. I'm popping the powers. I'm shooting, and I'm just like, no, this is nothing for me. This is. My dopamines are not coming. There's no dopamines.
I swing back around to World of Demons. I looked it up.
Oh my god!
And,
I'm gonna take your phone away from you. I'm taking your phone away.
I'm mad because this just looks fucking like Okami.
Yeah, it does.
Make Okami too, you psychopaths.
Well,
Anyway.
So
Division.
The Division.
Yep.
Heartland. Middle America.
Yeah.
In a Ubisoft game.
Cool.
That's brand new. They've never done that before. There wasn't totally a fucking whole Far Cry game that was totally that.
Yeah, wasn't there a whole Far Cry game about that?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, good.
I'm talking about Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, which apparently just got we're just putting that out on new consoles. We're re-releasing Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, and it's out today.
Oh, good.
Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance is a hella fun game. It's like a top-down platformer.
Yeah, platformer.
It does some platforming. It's got some jumping and stuff. It also has some RPG mechanics. It's a fairly robust kind of Diablo, but with more, because it was based on D&D. It kind of has some more RPG mechanics in it than Diablo.
Oh yeah, I saw I just saw some critters. I keep forgetting this is based on D&D because I just saw some creatures that are based on old that they used old D&D miniatures for and stuff.
My roommate and I played through this back when it originally came out, years and years ago on the PlayStation 2. I'm actually really excited about playing this next week.
Cool.
I don't know. Maybe you and I will play it.
That'd be fun.
You gotta play it co-op though, because the co-op is where it's at. But yeah, so that's out. It announced and out. I'm just
3 titles: Forgotten Realms, Baldur's Gate, Dark Alliance.
Yeah.
The Revengeancing.
Yeah. Let's see. We got a trailer. A gameplay overview trailer for Necromunda Hired Gun. Yeah. I just realized why all of my YouTube videos are at the end and not queued up and ready to go.
Because I just watched them all.
Because Matt watched them and then you didn't put them back at the beginning. So this we found out about like I think last week, but we got a full gameplay trailer. This is essentially the Necromunda part of Warhammer, which there was like a strategy game that Amanda and I played for this. But this one was like Doom. What if it was like the Doom RP or Doom action game? And I was excited about it last week. I'm even more excited about it now because I don't want to play a strategy Warhammer game. I know that's the franchise's bread and butter, right? But this looks great, and I would totally play it. It's got a bunch of guns.
Looks like fun.
There's like a dog.
Yeah, I like in the trailer they call him and he's a good boy.
Yeah, he's a good boy. But yeah, I mean, like I'm tired of. I love the Warhammer aesthetic. I wish there were more action games and fewer strategy games.
Yeah.
Which I understand that it's based on a strategy franchise.
Sure.
But like I fucking love Warhammer 40K Space Marine where you're just fucking you know, you get to shoot him. You don't just get to watch a guy get shot. You get to hit the button to shoot yourself.
I like the wall running. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very slick.
My publisher, a guy who publishes my stuff in Japan, is a big Warhammer fan. I asked him what he thinks about this.
It's interesting because Necromunda doesn't have anything to do with like the Space Marines or the Chaos or the Orcs or any of that. It's basically like these giant factory planets. So I think the entire planet is a factory that turns out war stuff. But then there's like slums in it, and so like these gangs develop, and it's like all these foundries that have been running for hundreds of years. So there's like artifacts and stuff going on. And this one you play as a bounty hunter, and it just looks cool.
You got a dog.
And you got a dog.
He's a good boy.
He's a guy bounty hunter with a dog. I'm yes.
Yes,
Thumbs up. Yeah. We also had a trailer for Hood, Outlaws and Legends.
This was violent.
So this game actually came out today. They decided to put this game out like head to head with Resident Evil Village.
Oh God!
And this is like one of those weird ass. Who's making this? It's like one of those weird ass. It's not Spiders, but it's Focus Home Interactive, which makes a lot of weird middleware shit, and then Sumo Newcastle, which is also weird. But this is like a 4-player Left 4. It's like what if Left 4 Dead was Assassin's Creed meets Robin Hood.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is Robin Hood, but what if Robin Hood was Game of Thrones?
Yeah, but the big thing is that it's like a 4-player co-op thing, and then there's like some kind of weird. You got to protect the person that got the gold, and then you can double cross them at the last minute and get more gold, or you can work together. One of those whole things. I don't have any idea. This reminds me a lot of Greedfall, in that like there's nothing about it when I look at it that looks terrible, but something about those words that I just said really kind of make it like I don't know if this is the sort of game I want to be playing.
It may not be for old Jeff.
Yeah, I don't know. We may get a chance to take a look at it at some point.
Sure.
It's a nice trailer though. It's a very fun trailer.
It's cool. I like a lot of what happens in it.
Yeah. This one guy is fucking shooting arrows. This other guy for this lady from a range of like 1 foot away. It's like that Resident Evil gunfight where those two guys just running around in circles shooting at each other.
It's fucking stupid. I love it.
I want that. I want that to be the next Resident Evil game. This is Resident Evil run in circles. Every gun battle is just automatically running around in circles.
Oh yeah, that's something that made me sick.
Another 4-player co-op news. We found out a little bit more about Back 4 Blood.
Which is this? Sorry, is this not just Left 4 Dead?
Yes. But this is from, I believe this is Turtle Rock, the guys that made Evolve.
Oh, yeah.
And like, I think this is like their last chance where they're just like, all right, look, all anybody wants for us to do is make another Left 4 Dead. We know that Valve is never going to do it, so we're just going to like make Back 4 Blood. Right. It doesn't have anything to do. They're infected. Actually, this trailer made me weirdly sad. Well, because it's all about this card system.
Oh yeah, the card. I kind of tuned out when the card system stuff started coming up, and I'm like,
a lot of it is like there's like an AI director that plays certain modifier cards to change things up, and then each player gets a hand of cards that they can deal that'll do different things. Like one of the powers for like the team was like killing enemies with fire heals you, or like you have a knife, but then like the AI director can play like riot gear, so that the swarm has riot gear on and they take more to bust down. Now I need to look into this, and I'm not entirely certain, but like I'm pretty sure that at the end of the day what this ends up being is like, and you can buy packs of cards on our online store for real money. and I don't really like that all that much. So,
I mean, I get it. It really was a shame how Evolve, what everything that happened to Evolve, because I was like for a hot minute super into Evolve.
yeah.
And it wasn't, and I remember playing it and being like, okay, this feels a little janky, but it feels like it's got a lot of potential, and I want to keep playing it. And they even tried. They
Yeah.
tried to course correct, but it just was a little too late. And I don't know. I think that Turtle Rock is a developer with a lot of promise, but yeah, once they kind of screwed the pooch on, I don't want to blame them entirely for it. I mean, who's their publisher?
I don't even remember.
Maybe hopefully this will work out for them, but I mean, yeah, if there's an audience out there that's hungry for a new Left 4 Dead style game, then good for them.
Yes. Yeah, Evolve Stage 2s. Oh, they made a bunch of Oculus games.
Oh, okay.
They made because I don't know if you remember, but Oculus had a thing. They might still, where it's like if you made a game for Oculus, you could only put it out on the Oculus. There's a lot of like weird Oculus exclusive games I've never played, but they made, let's see, Face Your Fears, The Well, Face Your Fears 2, and Journey of the Gods for Oculus Studios.
Weird. Okay.
I want to know what is Face Your Fears. Wait, this is on. Okay, is this like one of those? What was that horrible game show where they made people do scary stuff? Fear Factor.
Oh, Fear Factor. Yeah,
Joe Rogan.
Yeah. Oh, God, that's right. Okay, it looks like it's like a first person.
It's just like
horror game.
shit jumps out at you, and you're just like,
Boogity boo. Whoa.
whoa, okay. There's a lot of spooky stuff. Whoa.
What the?
I don't know what's going on. We got to describe.
Robot.
There's like a giant robot.
There's
like
a
an
guy in
evil
a house.
kid.
Another giant robot.
It's like stuff in your closet. It's poltergeists.
This is. I mean, it looks like. Oh, that guy's masturbating.
It's like
It
Five
looks-
Nights at Freddy's.
It looks like
Okay, this is like little kids screaming at you. Oh, giant spiders.
Oh no! Ooh, big old
Snakes.
snake and a skull.
I'm all right with snakes. I'm all right with giant robots.
The giant robot is.
I'm all right with
the
demon babies.
It looks like it could be this. It looks like it has. Again, they're not a bad developer. It just feels like they get saddled with these financial decisions that kind of wind up hurting them.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna have to buy an Oculus Quest 2 at some point, and then make Matt play the spider level because I'm not fucking playing it.
Cool.
I'm
Don't
not
have
playing
anxiety issues over here, so thank you.
Well, what about spiders? Do you hate spiders?
I don't like stuff coming at me.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'll just get very loud, and that'll be good for your views.
that's kind of the whole point of a VR game.
know.
Is stuff comes at you. You borrowed my PlayStation.
I did. We didn't play any horror
PSVR.
games on it, though.
Oh,
Just
well.
mostly super hot.
They're too scary. I can't do them. They're too scary for me. Somebody else has to play them. We also got the announcement and the first trailer for the 7 Deadly Sins Part 2, the Hitman 3 DLC 7 Deadly Sins. This one is Pride.
This trailer is fucking weird.
Yeah, it is.
Fucking
It's
suit.
like the suit. There's a new suit. It's got like a lot of mirrors on it.
Sure.
It's like this evil voice telling 47, like, you're the best. Don't listen to fucking Diana. I don't know why they decided to go in this weird 7 Deadly Sins direction. I only played a little bit of the very first one. This seems like it all happens in Chongqing, which the first one was in Dubai. What's interesting is that there aren't 7 levels in Hitman 3, so I don't know if they're going to reuse levels or if they're going to go to other levels. But you get a suit, you get some sniper rifles, you get a fucking sword, and then there's going to be an escalation called the Pride Perfusion.
The Majestic, that sniper rifle looks fucking stupid.
I think it's a take on... There's another sniper rifle that you get in one of the Chongqing escalations. It's like a dragon gun, but
I guess that's kind of cool. I guess I'd have to. I don't know. I've been looking at this and I'm like, that looks like terribly inefficient for a sniper rifle.
yeah. Well, this is weird. It's like 47 is dreaming, so it's all weird.
I figured it was
magic
like a
stuff.
dream. Yeah.
Like in the first one with Pride, it's like there's this golden frog, and you have to find these coins and feed them to the golden frog.
Oh, you mean greed?
Greed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like all in Dubai, but there are huge piles of gold everywhere and everything's gold. That was the whole thing for the first one, was everything is gold. I'm just like, where are you guys going with this? I don't which level is lust going to be? Is it going to be, are you going to turn the rave into a bordello? Okay, yeah, you're totally going to do that.
They're going to do that, yeah. Yeah, you have the name.
I'll tell you what's more exciting than that, though, is that we know that IO made Hitman 3, and we know they're currently working on a James Bond game, which is great.
Sure.
But it turns out that they're also making a game for the Xbox, specifically for Microsoft. And the report here says it's a fantasy IP.
Whoa.
Set in a medieval setting and will feature dragons.
Okay. Feature dragons.
Feature some dragons.
Okay. You have my attention.
Which is very strange to me because I'm going to look them up, but I'm pretty sure that all IO has ever really made is like Hitman, like Keenan Lynch.
I mean, you want to
Freedom Fighters, Mini Ninjas. I think Mini Ninjas is the closest we've gotten to dragons.
Well, hey, if they want to expand their horizons.
Yep. I don't know. I mean, I've really enjoyed Hitman. I think I really enjoyed James Bond. I don't know about dragons. Unless I can dress up. Unless you can choke out a dragon and then put on the dragon's clothes and then go to where the other dragons are.
Oh my God,
like,
I'd play the shit out of that.
I'm a fucking dragon.
I mean, given we'll have to see.
Yep.
I mean, you got to remember, like, Naughty Dog fucking went with Uncharted after doing the Jack and Daxter games.
Very true.
Who knows?
Yep.
I always like seeing developers go outside of their wheelhouse and try something just completely new.
Absolutely.
I mean, shit. Again, talking about Nintendo, all the stuff going through Miyamoto. You have a game about climbing a tower to fight a monkey. You have a game about stepping on mushrooms. You have a game about going on an epic fantasy quest.
Yep.
And none of those games really have anything to do with each other.
What was the one thing in that podcast or in that audiobook that just swam right past me was that the Super Mario 64 that Miyamoto wanted it to have 3 times as many levels as it had. It was it shipped with 20 levels, but Miyamoto had ideas for 64 or something like that. It was just
that sounds like something Miyamoto would do.
Ridiculous.
Silly boy.
Let's see. Shadow Warrior 3 has been confirmed to be coming to the PS4 and the Xbox One.
Hell yeah.
Previously, we only had the PC. So
Shadow Warrior is one of those games that you and I have played a few times, and we're just like, this is silly.
Michael and I played all the way through Shadow Warrior for Patreon.
Ooh, there you go.
Mm-hmm. So, let's see. Fall Guys on the Xbox and Switch has been delayed.
Okay.
It's still coming, but apparently the development for their next season and all the stuff they want to do is put them back a little bit. There is no actual updated release point for it, but I think that the sooner that Fall Guys can get onto the Nintendo Switch, the better, because that seems like the sort of game that would do fucking gangbusters.
I was going to say, I'm surprised it's not on the Switch.
I believe that they bought some PS4 exclusivity time. So
if it was on the Switch, I would have fucking downloaded it and gotten that Godzilla skin.
There you go. Let's see. Tony Hawk Pro Skater is coming to the Switch in June. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 that you and I played that was amazing and wonderful is going to be coming to the Switch in June.
Ballin'. All right, then.
Let's see. Sony registered trademark for Sunset Overdrive, which is a little weird because, well, it's not totally weird. Insomniac Games actually owned the IP. Sunset Overdrive was released originally as an Xbox exclusive, and then it came to the PC, I believe, last year or the year before, 2019 maybe. But Insomniac, I think they had an exclusivity period, and then they put it out on the PC after that. But then Insomniac got bought by Sony, and so then now Sony owns the rights to a game that used to be an Xbox exclusive. Whether this means there'll be a new Sunset Overdrive, who knows? But just, big corporations are. We want to own the rights to this bullshit.
Yeah,
so.
well, I own the rights to this thing. Was Sunset Overdrive a big hit, or?
I think it did okay. I really, really, really liked it. I thought it was a hell of a game. Loved it. But I feel like it got a kind of weirdly mixed reception.
Okay.
So. Let's see. This is the best thing I've heard in a long time. Flashback is getting a sequel.
Oh, wow. Okay.
For its 30th birthday. And when you're like, wait, flashback, like the Sega Genesis game? Yes, like the Sega Genesis game.
Wow.
That was 1992, and apparently the original game designer Paul Quisette, I don't know how to say that, is coming back and is going to be supervising a team of developers to make Flashback 2 coming in 2022 for PCs and console. This is really interesting because there's been a lot of I love the original Flashback so much, and there has been a lot of work to try to bring it back into the gaming sphere, and it's all not worked. There's actually a game that came out that is a sequel in 1995 called Fade to Black that that I tried desperately to play, and it was just no good. And then one of the very first Patreon videos on our Patreon list was a 2013 remake of Flashback that was also garbage dog shit. But at least with that one, you could play the original Flashback in that game and avoid playing the garbage dog shit remake. So.
It's always good when they give you a superior option when playing a game.
Yes. Let's see. Elden Ring may not be released until at least April of 2022. That comes from an earnings perspective from Katakawa, who owns From Software. And it doesn't appear that Elden Ring is in there. I get the feeling that Elden Ring was like already not troubled development, but just complicated development, and then that 2020 really fucked them up.
I mean, Kadokawa is already like Kadokawa is the company that owns Gamera, and they own a couple. They own a lot of IPs. They own a lot of old Osamu Tezuka IPs and stuff too. And they're a very old company in Japan, but they're not a very they don't have a whole shit ton of money.
Yeah.
And they get real conservative real fast based on what I understand. So as we saw here, it looks like they're going to start getting pretty conservative in the very near future because they're trying to suss out the impact of the pandemic.
Yes.
And basically they're just going to wait it out and
this article says they're expecting low earnings from its game division, around a 15% drop in net sales, and 52% in earnings.
I mean, that's rough.
Yeah, it's just it's like they got to know though, right? That like the last thing you want to do is rush and put out a half-baked Dark Souls, right?
Well, exactly. I guarantee you that because I surely they must. My hope is that they know well enough to let From Software do their thing.
Yeah.
So, I guess we'll see.
Yep. But I mean, that just means that probably no Elden Ring this year, and I don't know. Like at this point, I don't know why you would be super surprised because it's like they announced it in 2018, and there's just been nothing. And like, if a game goes like a year and a half without even a single trailer, I'm just going to leave these motherfuckers alone and kind of just pretend like this game doesn't even exist until I see it.
I mean, pretty much.
Well, speaking of games that you can pretend don't exist, there's a bunch of modders that have been working on basically taking Super Mario 64, and there's got two things, and one is adding ray tracing, and one is like up-resing all of the textures. And there was a video that came out this week that actually it looks really good. Like, the ray tracing works really good. The only problem is that the textures of the surrounding like walls and stuff,
it still looks like N64 textures.
Yeah, are really like super blurry. I kind of wish that Nintendo had put the work in to remake, because they did the Mario collection, right? And then the 64 was just kind of like, it's a port, like kind of looks like garbage. But like that's, and I know that the Switch can't do ray tracing, but it's kind of interesting to see just like what a difference in some of the places just the ray traced light can make to making things look better. Even taking old games, there have been a few examples of taking old games that have like the compatible style lighting and just like turning ray tracing on and having it be like, oh shit, that looks a lot better. So
I mean, I was gonna say like Nintendo is they're so stodgy about remaking stuff. That
it's weird to me because Galaxy and Sunshine hold up pretty well even if you just up-res them, and like anything from like the PS1 ish era like needs a facelift in order to even stand with just like the up-resed versions of a PS2,
Yeah.
GameCube, Wii games. So, anyway. In other modding news, this is interesting. A group of modders actually released a patch that puts cut content back into the original 1996 Resident Evil.
Oh.
This is really interesting because apparently, outside of the Japanese version, every other version of Resident Evil has had cut content from it.
Huh.
It's very interesting. There's a video where they showed like in the beginning when they're running up to the castle in the director's cut from Japan. There's a lot more gore and violence, and like you see people getting eaten and stuff. Because there's this video that has the different stuff, and you can see like this kind of different, gorier, more
with the dogs,
explicit, stuff that just got cut from the original. And it's not a lot. Like apparently one of the things is just like bloody messages written on the walls, but like apparently they really did cut a lot of gore.
Jeez, yeah, I'm looking at it now, and it's very shocking.
Yeah, the amount of stuff that's just gone in the director's cut, or like that moment. Let's see if I can find it. That moment in the beginning where the zombie turns around. The big iconic moment.
Yeah.
In the director's cut, before he turns around, like a severed head drops to the floor.
Oh, with the face missing.
Yeah, and then he turns around, indicating, like that was what he was eating. So yeah, this is a new mod thing that you could actually apply to get, and apparently it's not like a huge amount of stuff, but it's just some like weird stuff to make the game less violent. Which you think back, you guys made Resident Evil less violent. That's weird.
That's
yeah.
That's pretty surprising, to be honest. But I can guarantee you that when the game came out in America, people were like, well, you can't have that in a video game. It's video games for babies.
Yeah. So, yeah. And last but not least, if you want to mod Resident Evil games, Matt, I'm telling you, this should be the second mod that you apply.
Oh, yeah?
Because the PC demo for Resident Evil Village came out last week. And what do you think the first thing that happened was?
Oh, no.
The first thing that happened was...
It's going to be...
Thomas the Tank Engine's face on Lady Dimitrescu's body.
Oh, man.
And it is horrifying.
I don't like it. I really don't.
It's pretty bad.
Somebody... Oh my God, it's real bad.
Actually, the thing that happened, Matt, was that they put it out. I think the demo was on Steam.
And
so they immediately ripped Lady Dimitrescu's model out and then just started like putting her in other stuff.
Of course.
At a certain point, there is a I don't know if I have all of these, but like there's a mod to put just fancy sunglasses on her.
All right, cool.
And I'm sure that at some point they're going to model the rest of her body, and then of course it begins.
It begins.
Then it begins. Apparently, I was reading another article online. I didn't include this week. That was just like, hey, you know what? Like, be really careful when you search for like Lady Dimitrescu on Amazon, because it's just nothing but pornographic body pillows. Like,
I mean, obviously,
it's just like there's no safe search on Amazon, so it's just like hardcore porno.
Yeah, of course.
It's just like, hey, do you want hardcore porno? And it's like, there it is.
There's a meme that my friend shared on Facebook, and I saw it before coming over here. It's that image of what's his name? The guy with the Flex Seal. It's a Flex Seal guy.
Flex Seal.
The guy, it's that tape and that spray that he uses to like fix a boat after he sawed a boat in half.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So he's got that image of him taking that Flex Seal tape and like slapping it on this giant hole that's spraying out water. It's plugging the hole.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
And it just
that
says,
meme, yeah.
And it says like over the water, it says, "My life's problems," and then it has him with the tape, and it says, "Lady Dimitrescu's fat ass." Like, that's gonna solve everything.
I'm so proud of Capcom for coming up with like, they're like, all right, let's see, what is the internet like? Like sexy ladies. Like, okay, right. Sexy ladies, yes, but this is Resident Evil, and it's like, okay, what if it was a sexy vampire lady? Ooh, like, you got something,
yeah,
Steve. I think it's
Steve.
like, and then somebody is just like, what if she's like 9'6"? Everybody's like, oh my god, this changes everything.
Just get this man a raise.
You son of a bitch, you've done it again.
And another martini.
Because I don't know why the internet, like, I keep trying to think back, and I'm just like, it's this weird thing to me where it's like, this whole conversation about like gender politics and like, ladies in video games and the protagonists. You got lady bad guys who are the great, you got Samus and like Lara Croft or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, but what if it was like a lady and she was like really tall? Has that been the thing? Like, we haven't had an iconic lady, like a super iconic lady in video games in the last 4 years because they're just not fucking enormous. They're just not tall enough to pick me up. And once that happens, go for it. It's done. The internet's head exploded.
It's so funny. Like, just because Resident Evil knows what it fucking is, and as long, I don't know.
I wasn't. I think the first time that I became aware of it was when somebody took the meme of like that. Was that like really muscular guy that's standing next to that really tall lady and like looking up at her,
Oh, yeah.
And they put Mr. X as the little guy. And like the thing is that when they showed the trailer first, and it wasn't immediately apparent, it was like, oh, this is an interesting lady. And then it's like there was that one shot of her like having to bend in half to get through like, a
door,
a 6 foot, 7 foot tall door, and you're just like, oh my god,
oh, she's a large lady.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody also said, it was like on Reddit or something. Somebody said, I don't get what everybody's all fucking bent out of shape over this tall goth lady, and somebody responded with, she's got big fucking tits, bro. Like in some cases it does kind of boil down to that.
Hey, like, no, stick with me. It's like a lady, but there's like 30% more lady in that lady. So take like a regular lady and then like add more lady to that lady, and then that's the lady.
You got 30 times X lady, and just. I mean, that also goes back to like the Bowsette thing of like, oh, she's like Princess Peach, but slightly larger and is technically a dragon.
Yes.
Like, I don't know.
I think there's a lot of weird shit going on with the Bowsette thing, though. But
that's a whole thing we don't need to unpack today.
To me, it's mostly because like I see through it. It's just like, okay, well, Mr. X did very well in Resident Evil 2. Everybody loves fucking Nemesis. We got to have a big bad guy to chase people around. Like, we haven't had this big lady bad guy to chase people around. Like, oh, like a lady Nemesis. Like, nah. What was just like a lady in a sundress with a hat on? It's like, okay.
All right, well, let's see it. I can see how they would arrive at that.
We liked it when your girlfriend threw you around in Resident Evil 7. People liked that. They liked it when the dude busted through the walls, and they liked the really tall zombie with the trash bags. And if you put all those into a blender
and make it a lady. Yeah,
it's amazing to me.
They're but for the grace of God. Like
1 year ago, we didn't know who fucking Lady Dimitrescu was, and now it's just like it's gonna be 20% of all pornography in this year.
Oh yeah. I think it's gonna be a permanent fixture. It's like you can't search for X subject on a Rule 34 without finding 47% Overwatch.
I wonder if they kill her in the game. Or if they're just like, because like
she's bad.
Killed Nemesis.
She's a bad person.
Killed Mr. X eventually.
Bad.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They generally don't tend to be. Well, I guess no, that's not true. I was gonna say they don't tend to be precious with their bad guys, but then I remember Albert fucking Wesker.
Yeah, can't get rid of him.
Well, until he turned into a fucking Super Saiyan in that volcano, and then Chris punches the boulder.
This game franchise is weird.
You play Resident Evil 5.
Do I?
I saw another one where somebody posted that like they just found like it was like a bottle of bleach that's like a side, just an item in the environment that they were mining data files, and if you look at the bottle of bleach on the side, instead of any writing on it, it just has the lyrics to Creep by Radiohead, because it's like, who's actually going to like look? This is why I like to look at the stuff really closely, because every so often you find the lyrics to Radiohead and you're just like, what?
Sure.
And some developer was like, well, I have to write a bunch of text on this to make it look like an actual prop.
Right.
And just listen to Spotify, and Creep was on, and it was like,
It's Creep's got good lyrics.
Anyway, that's it.
Cool.
We're done.
Yep.
Matt,
Yes.
tell the people where they can find you.
You guys can find me over at mattfrankart.net. You can find me at patreon.com/mattfrankart. Sometimes I post the Giganticast over on oneofus.net.
There you go.
I've secured a pretty cool interview. I don't know when I'm going to record it, but it's coming.
Do it, Kiri Kazama. Can you tell him not to?
I don't know,
is
man.
he back?
I think he might be. He's waiting out there.
Oh, God. We got to wrap this up. Patreon.com/Rage. I didn't need money to get bike surgery. Just to help me out. Come on, man. Kiri Kazama's outside. I don't deserve this.